And now, live from the Man Cave, Studio B, deep in the heart of constitutional Livingston County, Michigan, on a Tuesday night GOP recap rant with co hosts Shane Trejo and George Skendi. Yours truly, Larry Parsons. This is my brain. And now, your host, the man that puts this all together, Mr. Jeremy Scott Gibbs.
Hopefully the music played.
I didn't hear. First night without Tim, and obviously, Larry and I tested a lot of stuff before the show started. And the one thing we didn't test was put earphones on to make sure the audio, I could see the levels. So I didn't bother testing to make sure it was coming through the system. And the levels were over there and it just not coming through the system. So whatever. Hey, we're here. We're on the show.
Larry, you're gonna have to start being enslaved and stay on that couch
Yeah.
from now on.
Yeah, apparently.
Do that. All right, guys, we're here. Larry, Shane, George, myself.
Hello.
What a week.
Good burgers?
Oh, those were great burgers.
Okay.
Delicious.
Yeah, except somebody brought out mayonnaise instead of Miracle Whip.
You know what? You're lucky you got that because I had to send a small child with a flashlight up to the house to grab it. So
Yes.
there is quite a considerable fight.
He's a cool kid.
He's a very cool kid. There's quite the considerable fight amongst people around here about what's real and what's not real.
I'm a mayonnaise man myself.
Are you?
Miracle Whip.
I never liked Miracle Whip.
He likes the tangy zip of Miracle Whip. You like mayonnaise.
Well, you know, Miracle Whip, that's salad dressing, right?
See? Yeah. It's not right, Larry. Talk to Jesus about it. What do you say?
He said, they made Miracle Whip just for me.
Now that makes sense.
He did not say that. I was kidding. That's not blasphemy. It was a joke.
I'm going to mute you real quick, Larry. Turn your microphone, or turn your microphone's pointed right at Shane. Don't touch it. Now do it. Yeah, turn it towards you. I didn't want to turn you up when I see how it was just sticking. There you go. That'll be perfect right there. Well, gentlemen, burgers, mac and cheese, but yeah, it's been an interesting week.
The burgers were pretty good.
You ate at home, and then you still had to get a half a burger.
I was coming here,
know.
walking from my car to your place.
Dude, he's like,
and smells so good outside. It's like I can't resist that.
that's what we want. We want it unresistible. Unresistible. There we go. You're back on, Larry.
Am I back on the
Back
air?
on the air.
All right.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of volume here. Anyway, so
Well, the noodles were good too.
what
kind of noodles were those?
those are egg noodles. I don't like making macaroni and cheese any other way. Egg noodles, Velveeta
Nice.
with some milk in there.
Egg noodles, you must have paid $10,000 for those.
I didn't. Eggs in Mexico are like there's no price increase.
Of course not.
It's all inflated bullshit. So there's that.
So you've been hopping the border to get your eggs?
No, but I've seen a number of people walking and filming themselves getting eggs, and they're like, "Look at this, eggs, a dozen eggs," and they're like,
Do you know what is good?
What?
To have a farm with ostrich.
Oh,
You seen those eggs?
"Those eggs are huge."
Uh,
That's a dinosaur.
I-
You tried ostrich, maybe like that.
No.
No, you were like this.
No,
Nice.
really,
It's
like
like
Nice
this.
raptor
That's like
egg.
the
Oh,
size
yeah.
of a basketball. George's. That's like we can do an omelet for the whole.
7 people can eat
Whole
with
block.
1 egg.
I don't doubt that. Makes it easy to make quiche, huh?
Before,
There you
where
go.
I used to live in another country, we used to go all the time in the farm. They have ostriches. The meat is good too.
Right?
Jerky and all of this is dark red, but very tasty. No fat at all.
Mm-hmm.
And 7 people can eat 1 ostrich egg.
One ostrich egg. Well, let's get started here. I got to pull this up, and you know what's going to happen? It's going to sound. Oh, no. They must have switched it back.
What's that?
Remember that for the last 2 months when I would switch on the show so I could see the chat and stuff? It would come up all automatically unmuted. Now they've taken it back to being muted, and you have to unmute it. Because dumb. Dumb. All right. Let's give some. Let's do some disclaimers and get on with the show. Best show in the area.
The best Tuesday night show I've ever seen in Livingston.
Livingston's number one podcast.
Livingston's number one. Livingston's premier Tuesday night conservative podcast.
I'm not going to disagree with any of that. Let's see what we got here when I click on this. Let's see where we're at on this.
Oh, there's that beautiful lady.
Yeah. Let's try it right here on this marker and see what we get. Let's try it and see if
This is my brain.
There we go.
Notice this show is mostly raw,
Oh my
unfiltered.
God! Who is there?
Are you what?
That
I'm getting a
beautiful
website.
lady.
You want me to also then
Oh,
switch
God.
to the table?
Oh shit! I'll do it. No, I'll do it.
Won't
Yeah,
be?
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have a little interference here.
Well, they can't read what you're reading.
That's true. And I didn't even realize he told me
Nothing
he
has
was doing
changed on the
something, and
show. We
backed
still
up.
have
That was
those.
me. It
It
was
was
Larry's
you?
fault, but it's me.
Larry,
Yeah,
I did it.
freaking interns.
do I have to go again?
Go, Grandma.
All right, this is my brain. Notice this show is mostly raw, unfiltered, and completely politically incorrect. We say Merry Christmas and the Pledge of Allegiance, especially about. Okay.
You're doing a Kelly now, especially the about part of the.
You started it, Cal.
It's like best if I just remain silent the rest of it.
Especially the part about one nation under God.
Yes.
We thank our troops for their service. Thank you.
Thank you.
We only
thank you, veterans.
recognize two genders.
Dangle and no dangle. I mean, it's just simple.
As adults, we enjoy adult beverages. Cheers.
Cheers.
I don't know what. Kelly's got a mug of
She's
water.
got it. We cuss, but we do not curse or swear. We love Jesus, but hate religion or religious hypocrites. If any of this offends you,
There's the door.
please leave. In
Bounce.
other words, it's okay if you're offended, but you don't have to watch. So don't be offended.
Yeah,
Just
if
get
you're
off.
offended, just
Just go away.
And if you're
Just move
liberal
along.
and you're offended, good. That's our goal.
you're welcome.
Oh, Larry.
There's Larry. Of course. Of course, that's Larry. All right. The rest of the disclaimers here, gentlemen. Let's do this. What would you prefer there, Mr. Trejo? Would you like to do? You don't have the list in front of anybody. I'm just going to
Give me a random one.
I'm going to give you. You know what? How about Reagan or Jefferson? Pick one.
Jefferson.
Here we go. And
A government big enough to give you everything you want is big enough to take away everything you have. Thomas Jefferson.
there it is. All right. George, I'm going to give you this one because you've talked to me about it before, about the ones in Russia. Go ahead.
Which one is?
Hold on. I forgot that I have to, if I go down the list. Go.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Except for the bears will kill you.
The Bears just kill you.
The Bears.
That
Bears.
is in the show with Kevin Costner. Do you remember with all the Japanese people going out of the bus and they see a grizzly bear and they would go "La, la, la, da, da," taking pictures?
Oh, right.
And he came with
wasn't that on Yellowstone?
Yeah, Yellowstone, and he came with a reporter rifle. And what the fuck are you doing here? This thing can kill you. And they were
What
like,
are you thinking? Larry, go, buddy.
Ooh, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state. The right of the people to keep bear arms shall not be infringed. That is the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. It was issued on December 15th, 1791. It expires never.
Hell freezes over from my cold, dead hands. All right, fix your microphone again, Larry. It's twisted way over. I don't know what the deal is, buddy. And I will go with my typical one. I'm going to go with my regular one. A long habit of not thinking a thing wrong gives it a superficial appearance of being right and raises at first a formidable outcry in defense of custom, but the tumult soon subsides. Time makes more converts than reason. Thomas Paine, Common Sense, 1776, the pamphlet that was the final spark to the revolution. And then let's do this one. And you know what? I'm going to hit this button and I'm going to run over, see if I can. I'm probably not going to be able to do it. I'm going to hit this. Ready, guys? Never apologize and never explain. It's a sign of weakness. I'm running over. Where's it at?
He's got to push a button.
I don't even see it over here. I can't even do it.
Oh, you can't.
I'm going to bring the sound effect board over here
There you
so I can push it. I'll have it. I'm going to be over here next week.
Larry,
We added a lot of stuff this week.
nice. Larry, I wanted to say that initial clip, I wanted to congratulate you on your Wilford Brimley mustache. It's a great look for you.
Is it? Is that what we're doing here? We're doing the Larry Brimley?
I'm bringing back the Larry Brimley
The
stuff.
Larry Brimley. Very nice. All right, there's the disclaimers. There's where that's out of the way. Good stuff there. Initial thoughts. We want to. How was everybody's weekend?
Oh, my weekend was great down at Cobo Hall.
Oh, you went over there.
Yeah.
Is that place still open?
Yeah, they call it something else now,
I thought
but
they were
I'm not going
demoing
to call it that. I'm going to call it Cobo Hall because it's Cobo Hall. I don't know.
Why,
They've
they
changed
changed
it.
the
They
name?
changed the name to something.
I thought they demoed that place.
Huntington Place.
Yeah.
Oh, the bank.
Huntington?
Huntington Place.
Yeah.
And what is this? Does
Well, the bank bought it, so it's
Oh, it's from Huntington Bank.
Right.
What are you talking about? Like move up?
Yeah.
Did you send me this? What, I'm gonna have to read this while everybody's
There
talking
you
amongst
go.
themselves.
Now I'm a big boy
Did you
now.
send that to me?
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
didn't notice until
Okay.
it's like, you're awful short.
Nice.
I don't remember you being short.
All right.
Jeremy,
It's another
can't-
one.
Of course,
I couldn't
Jeremy, that
fit all one in one.
Okay.
So you have another.
he'd be
picture.
under the desk. if
Yeah.
he forgot.
I'd be what?
Just read those two.
No.
I'll read them.
Sentences.
All right. So we got anything in chat to catch up on as we get started here? No, I don't care.
Why?
Thanks, everybody in
I
chat.
don't know.
No, I just was asking Larry if there's anything to catch up in chat.
You know, I don't have chat open. I'm opening it right now.
Okay. That's good.
Unfortunately, I had to miss convention. I was at CPAC.
Right? Were you
DC.
delegate supposed to be there?
No, I knew I wasn't going, so I didn't. I requested not to be
So
elevated.
you didn't really miss.
Well, I mean, I missed all the fun and excitement and all the brutal infighting and all the hurt feelings and wounds that come through every convention. So I missed all that. Oh, shucks. I'm kicking myself.
Oh, my bad.
You're kicking yourself?
I don't think you are. Well, then where do you want to start? You want to start with Larry giving us a recap of the Michigan, or Shane? You sent me some stuff.
Oh, Larry, let's talk about convention first. I got a few things I want to chime in about how this all happened. Even though I wasn't there, I've been in the thick of it for years now, and a lot of things happened in convention, and I think I can give some context to that. But Larry, I know you were pushing a candidate who won, and you guys did great in terms of getting the word out and getting support with the delegates. Explain how that happened in your eyes, and what are your thoughts?
Oh, a lot of hard work for me in Livingston County. Jim reached out to me in November.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been even October. I didn't mark it on my calendar, but a good month to month and a half before Michonne reached out to me, Jim reached out to me, and I'd already recruited all the as many delegates out of Livingston County as I could by that point. And we just stayed on it. We kept. I had a lot of help from Sharon Lolio. She was making a whole lot of phone calls, and she was working it hard as well. I can't take. It was a team effort. It wasn't just me. And just promoting Jim was an easy thing. As far as I'm concerned, Michigan just elected Rush Limbaugh as our chair. Jim is an outstanding conservative, and he's a conservative warrior.
I
Yeah.
like Jim from the moment I met him.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Jim is
And that's
very
not to
good.
say that
guy.
the other people that ran are
Yeah.
not good, but
I'm not taking anything away from anybody that didn't win the convention.
Mhm.
I'm going to be honest about the Sella guy. I knew nothing about him, zero, and I wasn't going to risk anything when it comes to the Michigan Republican Party. We already saw the Karamo disaster. We didn't need another one.
Yeah.
And with Michonne, I consider Michonne a friend of mine. I don't have an issue with her, but this wasn't a popularity contest. This was about who's going to be best to take the direction of the Michigan Republican Party in the direction we need to take it, and who's most likely to win in 2026.
Mhm.
And I had to go with Jim Runstead.
Right.
That's just, and we got lucky. We won. So a lot of hard work, and it paid off for everybody, I believe, not just for Jim Runstead, who I don't believe is in it for himself. I believe he's in it for the party.
And one of the
in it
things
for
I
the
think
state.
that resonated with Jim was he talked about the consulting class of the party. So he talks about, the handful of consultants who always seem to be dominating everything.
John Yob?
Well, John Yob is the one who's been most recently in power, but there's others too. Stu Sandler, Bright Spark, who was behind Joe Sella, Heather Lombardini. And then there's a bunch of other people who are also involved, but they're generally close to the handful of very well-connected consultants who have dominated Michigan Republican Party for years, become very wealthy off of contracts related to the state party, and generally have been perceived, whether deservedly or not, as being incompetent, as failing to captivate, recruit the best candidates, captivate the public, and have since been kind of bailed out by Trump. But in my opinion, that a lot of the anger coming from the grassroots against these consultants was kind of tapped into brilliantly by Runstead, who said, these guys are not going to have free reign. There's going to be a open bidding process, and it's going to be basically whoever can give do the contract at a reasonable rate. It's not going to be people lining their pockets. And that was, I think, music to the ears of the delegates. And of all the ideas that I heard people brought up on the campaign trail, none of them seemed to gain traction like that one.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you there. I mean, at what point do we stop lining the pockets of consultants when they're, charging up to 50% for party business? And it's, we have to raise money, and then we have to be able to compete. So these consultants, if the consultant raises $1 million, well, he gets 500,000. The rest goes to the party.
Yep.
That's a line of crap. All the work that I do in politics, I don't do to make a consultant rich.
Right.
John Yob can find another way to buy another yacht. Right.
Another island.
So cynical, Larry. You're so cynical.
Yeah, and I don't think John Yob is like some evil dude or anything, but he really doesn't care whether he wins or loses or not, because he gets paid anyway. The same.
Well, he plays the game probably better than anyone, and is very wealthy because of it. And I know that a lot of the things that go on behind the scenes with consultants, it's well, you better use me, or I'm going to come in and put up a candidate and it's going to screw you for any given race, or use me as the vendor. We got in my candidate and the vendor. So we're going to put all the money in through my mailing firm, and we're going to send out 1 million mail pieces when, maybe that money would have been better spent on digital ads. We could have reached more people, reached more moderates, saved money, but no, it had to go through a certain mail firm because, that's how, a given consultant, gets greased over better. So,
kickbacks.
Yeah. political kickbacks, and that's the sort of thing that Jim's victory was a wholesale rejection of by the delegates, and it'll be interesting to see how Jim institutes the open bidding process. If there'll be something posted online where people can post their qualifications or anything like that, because there are, I know different people, especially people out of state, who do work for the congressional U.S. House Freedom Caucus. Mm-hmm. And these are people who have good records. They know how to run a 21st century campaign. They're very technologically savvy, have great ideas, and they have great, resolve and work ethic. And, it would be great to see some of those people, some of the best talent from other states, get considered rather than it just being kind of a small handful of people who are entrenched.
Right. That's huge. It's huge. And that's, it doesn't take much. Well, I'll put it this way. There's a scripture that talks about this. It says, peacemakers who sow in peace raise a harvest of righteousness. That's one scripture, right?
Right.
So are we sowing into peace to raise a harvest of righteousness? And most people don't even have a clue what righteousness means, or what church people even more don't have a clue of what righteousness. They think it's some kind of arrogant religious standpoints. But the reality is righteousness, according to the Greek word in the New Testament, simply means to be in the state or condition of him who is as he ought to be. Being the person you were created to be and being in that position. That's what it literally means. So if I'm righteous, then I'm in the exact spot that I'm supposed to be in. And it doesn't have anything to do with religiousness or any other ideas or concepts. It literally just means that I'm in the spot that God created me to be in, or I'm being the person God created me to be. So you sow into peace because you're a peacemaker. You raise a harvest of everybody around you getting into their own correct spots, right? Mm-hmm. And it makes a lot more sense when you do that. The other scripture that's very pertinent on this is trying to think of the reference, Ephesians, I think. But it says, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. So I give you the first one out of James, chapter 4, okay? Chapter 4? It's in James. Is it James? I'm getting James and Peter mixed up now. Anyways, you guys can look them up by typing them in. That's how I do it nowadays, because they wrote them in letter form, not chapter and verse. Anyways, my whole point is, it says, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit. We cannot create unity. We cannot create cohesion. We have to surrender to the Spirit of God within all of us. And that doesn't have to make us perfectly religious, pious a-holes. What that means is we go, Lord, it's in your hands. Help me do the best that I'm supposed to do. Help me to be the best that I'm supposed to be. And when I do that, and you do that, and you do that, there's automatically a unity, because now we've all surrendered it to God. And we don't, and it's according to the scripture, it says that we don't have to create unity. We got to do our best not to mess it up. And that's the biggest problem in society, is they're finding ways to try to, I'm going to do, my selfish ambition's going to do this. My attitude's going to do this. I was slighted. I was offended. I was this, that. That's why you don't hear me a lot of times talk about some of the things that go on in our community, because I'd rather just move on and endeavor to keep the bond of peace, or keep the unity through the bond of peace.
Not only this one, but you don't have to take everything personal too.
Correct. Yeah. And it's putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and going, you know what? I don't know what kind of day they had. I don't know what kind of life they had. Now you affect me. You personally affect me. I may respond, and I may respond in a profound way, but I'm not going to go out of my way to track you down, because do your thing, and until you hurt a little kid, but there's some pretty heavy duty stuff on that too. You hurt little kids. Yeah. It's pretty bad. So anyways,
one more thing I wanted to add is,
absolutely.
There's been plenty of, people who are delegates who have usually because of, third hand slander or whatever, come out against me, stab me in the back or whatever. And it's, I've been happy to try to mend fences with people like that. We don't have to be best friends, but if we agree on 90% of every issue, there's no reason why there shouldn't be some sort of petty squabbling
Absolutely.
that would keep us apart and keep us from having success in doing kind of mutually beneficial stuff for the Constitution, for our country, for the party, for Republicans, for Trump, for whatever. So that's why what's happened over the past couple of years has been very regretful. I know Larry said that earlier that what happened with Karamo was a disaster, and I know a lot of us who thought that she should be removed because she was not doing a good job. As soon as that happened, we were, it's over. Let's try to move forward, and we may not.
Mend fences.
Let's mend fences as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, there was a clique of people from the anti-Karamo camp who they were kind of like a Mean Girls type club. They were very cliquish. They were, very exclusionary. That they were sore winners.
Right.
And that they, tried to rub salt in the wounds of the Karamo people at all times, try to bury them rather than, hey, we're all Republicans. They're going to be here. We're going to be here. Let's try to mend fences. Let's try to bring them into the mix. Let's try to bring them into the fold.
Right.
That did not happen. And for years, how can we be more exclusionary? How can we drive these people away from the party? I know when I was doing delegates for Trump events, there were groups of people who were like, oh, that person, I think they're one of them. And it's like, this is someone no one's ever been seen before,
One of them, like a they them or just a them?
A them. One of the Karamo people. This person, is wearing a shirt with a cross on it. They're one of those Christian nationalists. That's what people were saying at these events. And I'm like, well, we're going to sign them up anyway because that, is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And if you see these people and it's like, well, okay, well, how about this? After we sign them up as a delegate, you give them a call. You try to explain to them what's going on.
Right.
You take them out to coffee. You try to build that relationship, try to cultivate that relationship.
Yeah.
But these people, they wanted to, who are all these people? Well, they showed up because they're enthusiastic about Trump and they wanted to get involved.
Exactly.
So what happened as a result was in Oakland County, I know you guys said it was similar in Livingston County.
Mm-hmm.
In Oakland County, there was less than 300 people showed up as delegates that day. I was one who couldn't, just showed up because I always show up, but couldn't go to convention.
Right.
So let's say, probably between 250 and 270 delegates in Oakland County out of something like 800, 900. So just the most pathetic of turnouts. And
which is a total contrast to 4 years ago and even 2 years ago.
Yeah. So what happened? It was a lot of it had to do with the infighting. People were just, I'm sick of it.
Yep.
Trump won, so whatever. I don't have to deal with that BS. That's some of it, but a lot of it was just due to poor organizing and exclusionary organizing. And you know what happened? What happened was all these people trying to throw dirt on the Karamo people.
Yeah.
Probably some of the Karamo people fell off, but a lot of them had a chip on their shoulder.
Yep.
And they showed up. Yep. And they had that core of the delegates. They probably had, 40 to 50% of the delegates. And I would say they overwhelmingly went to Jim because they were the ones who were angriest about the consultant class. They'd been through the ringer. Mm-hmm. They'd felt, how they'd been stabbed in the front and the back by the establishment. And then after Christina got removed, it was the sore winner syndrome, getting dirt kicked in their face left and right.
Yeah.
And that core of people, you look at the exclusionary tactics of a lot of the, anti-Karamo people mixed with the determination that built in their hearts because they were discriminated against or felt they were discriminated against. That's what you saw bubble up at convention. And that's why you saw a lot of, incumbents, Marion Sheridan, who's a great friend of mine, did a spectacular job as grassroots vice chair, probably the best person I've ever seen in a vice chair situation who's been elected in the Michigan Republican Party. Mm-hmm. She lost because it was a house cleaning. It was a heads must roll type event. And Jim was able to tap into that anger. And
right.
And there were, the people who, there were people in the new establishment, as I call them, the clique. Mm-hmm. And I felt it. I saw it. It disgusted me too. That they, thought that because they were able to get rid of Christina, they vastly overestimated their own power and influence, and they took a real hit to their egos and hopefully, they'll be able to come back and be more humble, and we'll be able to unite under Jim, because a lot of the stuff that they were saying, we're going to get rid of all these people, we're going to make it so we're going to be gatekeepers so that certain delegates can't get through, and if they do get through, we're going to X them out because we have the power as a county party or district party or whatever. All the people who were saying that, well, they didn't have the numbers. They didn't have close to having the numbers. And, I don't see that changing anytime soon. So let's come together. Let's try to unite.
Right.
Let's put all this infighting to bed. But yeah, this sort of establishment cliquishness, hopefully that died on Saturday with the convention.
Yeah, that's the thing. Excuse me. Jim continually sent a message of unity. And that's what he talked about, is beating Democrats. Not beating up each other.
And that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, he was not interested. I saw him speak time and time again. He was not interested in getting in with these factions of the party and getting in with these who said what and let's fight type stuff. He's all about party unity and beating Democrats.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to be.
100%.
Somebody that is 90% my friend is not necessarily 10% my enemy.
No, I mean, I can, see if it's, even if it's a big issue, look at the other issues where you can combine and come along with and march in unison on. And that's what I've seen in the Republican Party in recent years, is people who agree with each other on 95% of all the issues, and they're getting in fights over positions of power and authority that mean in actuality very little. And instead of putting all that effort toward, oh, hey, let's get the school board member elected, let's flip the school board,
right?
Or let's actually
Those are
go
things
after
that actually matter.
Let's actually go after a bad rhino in the state house or
right.
the county commission, and let's put all those effort and energy behind getting rid of them and sending a message. No, we're going to go in our little clique and we're going to fight in a county board for the Republican Party that only 50 people are even tuned into, because a lot of it is just driven by ego and wanting to feel like you're the kind of the king of the little hill, rather than actually going out there and organizing and doing the hard work that actually makes a difference. And
isn't that the most ridiculous thing? Is when people are doing that stuff, I've watched so many people over the years in different everywhere, job sites, church situations, political situations, where they're just jockeying for this little bit of power and they want to control the situation and do this. And I've always been the type of person, I just hang back and I watch and I do this. And I'm going to give and on that point, I'm going to give this shout out, and I'm going to try to pull it up right now. But a dear friend of mine, why is my thing not typing again? Thank you. I'm going to try to pull up the obituary, but I was honored this weekend. This young man right here, where's my wall feed right there? Oops, I got to switch that. There it is. All right. Zach Fry, 34 years old. Holly passed away Wednesday. Okay. Wow. Horrific job site accident. It was horrible. His brother was there, worked with him, saw it all happen. I won't go into more details than that.
Yeah, we don't want to.
It was horrible. Zach was a phenomenal human being. He lit up the room when he walked in. That doesn't even portray the beard, and I don't think they have another picture of him there. But if you see here, this was the ceremony, and this gentleman officiated. I was one of two people that was asked to speak on Zach's behalf. I knew Zach for 9 months, but I've known his brother Brandon and his dad for the better part of 10 years. I just met Zach like 9 months ago, 10 months ago, when we started this Monday Night Hockey, and he started skating with us. And immediately you fall in love with a guy like that. He's happy. He's a fisherman. He's a hunter. He's this. He's got two small boys and his wife, Sierra. And they're just awesome people. Just saw the earth, beautiful people. And I'm in the locker room with these types of guys, and they're voting conservative. They see what's going on. They bounce the questions off me. They know I'm one of those guys. But I was asked by the family, and I didn't realize it at the time. I thought there was going to be a whole bunch of people that were going to get up like a normal not normal, but like a usual funeral, there'd be a number of people that get up and speak, right? So I'm just anticipating I'm going to have my few minutes to get up and speak, and then there's going to be a whole succession of people, and I'm just going to share a few things because I got a chance to really talk with Brandon. I got a chance to really talk with Sierra, and then after the service, I got a chance to talk with Joe and Robin, Zach's mom and dad. But turned out I was one of two people, other than the guy officiating the whole thing, to get up and speak on behalf of this young man. And it was really profound to me. And I thought about this, and I thought, you know what? I'm the guy that sits back and just, and most people don't think this because of the podcast, right? But I'm one of the guys that sits back and waits for somebody. It's James, right? It's like, don't have an expectation of getting the best seat in the house. Take a back seat. And then when somebody invites you up, you're honored, versus honoring yourself by taking the first seat. And so in this situation, and shout out to the whole Fry family and all the friends, it was awesome. The outpouring. I mean, it was standing room only in this place. And they had to clear another parking lot. We had a shuttle bus to get people to the reception afterwards. And it was standing room only at the bar we were at, the Fireplace there in Fenton. And it was just an outpouring of love because this young man, 34 years old, cut down in the prime of his life, touched so many people. And I thought about that. I thought about him, and I paid my tribute the way I saw it to him. And his good friend of 20 years sitting next to me, the other speaker, he said 9 months or 20 years. He goes, "You nailed it." And I went, "Thanks, bro." Because I wasn't expecting to be one of only two people, other than the guy actually, running the ceremony, to be speaking on behalf of Zach. And it floored me. But I was the same guy that sat back and said to my friend Brandon, "If there's anything I can do to help, just let me know." And was willing to do nothing but show up and support. Nothing. I don't need anything other than, "I'm here for you, bro. What can I do?" I won't tell you the contents of it, but I sent Sierra a text today. And I was thinking about the text and thinking about what, but I sent her a text. And I just said, "I'm praying for you." And I said a number of things. And I couched it in a way as I said, "Look, I'm praying for you, but this is on my heart. And I'm not, saying this is," anyways, I said, "I don't know how you're feeling. I don't know what you're doing today, but this is what I'm praying for you." And she texted back, "Exactly what I needed. I appreciate you so much." These are the human connections that we need to have and cultivate in our life. And there's so much bullshit going on politically, socially, economically, all this stuff. And I watched, here's a young man of 34 years old, cut down in the prime of his life. And I talked to so many people because I'm known as the preacher, at hockey for a number of people. And I talked to so many of them, and they're like, "Man, I'm assessing. I'm thinking about my life." And one of the things I said when I got up there and spoke, I said, "My mom just passed. In fact, Zach passed a month to the day of my mom."
Wow.
And I said, and our good friend Jimmy, hockey player, I found out he passed 2 days before the memorial, or the day before the memorial we had here for my mom. Right. And I said, but mom had cancer, and we got a number of months
Pretty much
to deal with that. Right. And Jimmy, we knew he battled cancer for like 15 months, 16 months. Okay. We knew it. Zach went to work that morning expecting to go home that evening, or go home at the end of the week, because they work up north and then they would come back. Okay. He was expecting to come home, and that didn't happen. And I thought, we got to put this shit in perspective, man, because all of this other stuff, you walk into an environment like the GOP conference, and you've got it in perspective that somebody could be taken out on the ride home tonight. Somebody could be doing, and you start to put your bullshit attitudes away, and you go, who's going to be the best for this position? Not based on a popularity contest, as you said, not based on who I like the best because they did this for me or did that for me, but based on who's going to be the best at this job.
Who's going to take it seriously? Who's going to do the work? Who's going to take the responsibility and the stewardship the heart.
Correct.
That's who we should be electing.
And
Who
then
can deliver the best?
who's going to deliver the best? And then who
Exactly.
can take the time to sit back and go, my opinion matters when somebody asks for it. But other than that, do I need to get up here and until I'm asked, until I'm in that position to where they say, what do you think about this? Oh, and I get that all the time. And I'm the guy who's willing to not say a word. But I get that all the time where they go, hey, what do you think of that? Jeremy, what do you think? Preach, what do you think? I get it all the time. Not continually, not all the time. I get my moments where I just sit back and watch the room, watch the hockey players, watch the situations going on. And I look at the leadership locally, state, politically. You said it during dinner. You said there's a whole bunch of people around Trump still. Not his main inner circle. He's done a much better job this time. But there's a whole bunch of people still around Trump that are just looking for their next fucking job. They're just looking for their next opportunity. They're not in it because their hardcore beliefs, their heart is in it. And that doesn't mean you worship Trump. That just means you have an integrity to know that I've walked into so many churches as a leader and sat in the back row. And literally, one of the assistant pastors comes up and gets me, takes me to the front. And I'm speaking there either that night or they're asking me what date I have available to come and speak. I've gone to Detroit and had this multiple times. And I'm walking in unassuming. Now, I'm doing this. But they recognize leadership, okay? And that's when I was flowing in church circles. But my whole point is that why are our leaders so ambitious that they destroy the very organizations they're trying to lead? Answer that question. Or at least weigh in on it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with, from what I've seen, a lot of people will show up, they have the right idea, they want to be patriots, they want to, make a difference, they want to get conservatives elected. But then as they go through cycle by cycle, they get dragged in all these fights. Next thing you know, they're in one faction, they're going against another faction, then that faction breaks off, and then suddenly you're in a struggle for power. And now you're looking at your fellow man who you thought, I'm going to go and meet some delegates and we're going to do something good. We're going to get a resolution passed, or we're going to get a candidate elected. We're going to recruit delegates. We're going to grow the team. Now you're seeing delegates as the enemy. Now they need to be run out of the party. And, we can't let this person in unless we grill them and interrogate them because they might be one of the bad guys. Rather than this is someone who you should be developing a relationship with. You should be training them as an activist. No, they're the enemy. They have to be shut out. And then you have this insular focus, and you're focused on your own power, and you're focused more on fighting the other rather than growing the movement and trying to use the delegate system as kind of a proving ground or a platform for your next school board candidate, your next township trustee, your
100%.
your next city councilman. There's been, tons of people who have risen from the delegate ranks to all these different roles in government. So it can happen. It does happen. It's a natural way to find your constituency and people who will do hard work to get you elected.
Yeah.
So why not focus on that rather than going to endless amounts of meetings, grueling meetings, 7-hour meetings, going to war with people and making lifelong enemies out of someone you agree with on 95% of the issues.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we're doing this. And I'm watching it over and over again. And I honestly, I wonder, I go, Lord, are you doing this because people aren't submitted to your spirit? And I'm not saying that in a religious, hear me out. I'm not saying that in a religious bullshit asshole way. When I say surrender to the Spirit, I don't mean I'm surrendered to God and I'm doing my, no, in your heart, when you lay your head on your pillow at night, you go, Lord, I can't do it by myself. I have to depend on you to the best of my ability, to the best of my understanding of who you are in me. I have to depend on you. Are we doing that? Because I'm watching people that they're doing everything to disrupt any unity. It's like unity showed up in front of you and just automatically happened, and you walked in and went, well, I can do it better. and I'm going to stomp on this, and I'm going to offend these people, and I'm going to jack with this person. Oh, I don't like what they said to me, and I don't like what they. I watched it. I watched this. I got into the party with just the purest motive. I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to help where I can. And Jen was our chair. And the first meeting that I'm seeing her, I'm watching her under all the stress because everybody's, like this. And I'm like, can I buy you a drink?
Point of order.
And she's like, please. And I went and got her vodka and cranberry and set it up there on the counter. I said, just relax. You got this. And I think she did a hell of a job. Could somebody do it better? Absolutely. But you know what? We can all have those armchair quarterbacks that know how to play the game better than us the day after the game's played. And so I look at it from that standpoint of, why don't we rally behind the leaders? And I started to say this. I've walked into so many churches where I wasn't recognized, where I wasn't known. And I sat in the back and I waited. And when it came around and they asked me, why I was there, I said, I'm just here to, be here. And I told them some of my history or something like that. There was one church where I was there for 3 weeks. And by the 4th week, I'm up on the platform singing one of the 2 songs in the Christmas special because they found out I was a singer. They found out, okay. And so I'm up there, right? But it was not a church flavor that I was normally in. All right. I was raised in the Assembly of God, not the strict Pentecostal, snake bullshit, but just Assembly of God's, spirit filled, right? And I ended up at a Baptist church. I love the people there. They were salt of the earth, just beautiful people. And I'm part of the worship team, more of a contemporary worship, right? And I said, just like I did in so many places, I'm just here to follow the vision of the man of God that God's put in place. Do I disagree with him on some stuff? In my heart, absolutely. But do I say it out loud? Never. Because that's the man God put in place. And for how many ever flaws and mistakes he may make, until God removes him or takes me out of that church, moves me to another place, I'm going to commit to him. Because the last thing I'm going to do is, the law of sowing and reaping says, whatever a man, Galatians 6, whatever a man sows, that's what he's going to reap. The last thing I'm going to do is walk into somebody else's organization and sow discord and disunity and undermine the leaderships that's there. Because you know what? The next time I go in and do my own leadership, you know what I'm going to reap? There'll be a whole bunch of trees out in my backyard that are discord, disunity, and I go, why is this person messing with my stuff? What'd you do the last time you had the opportunity to just honor the guy that was there who wasn't perfect? And I think that's the bullshit we're dealing with so much in the party, is we can't just go, yes, we had a vote. I believe Jim's the right man for the job right now, right? But we watched the bullshit that happened with Christina. Okay. Do I think, I said day one, I don't think she was the best candidate for a chair, but the way that they removed her, the way that they did that stuff, the way that it all came down caused so much division and so much factions in the party. Instead of letting her either succeed or fail on her merits and rallying behind her and supporting her to the best of your ability to do it and let her succeed or fail on her own merits.
There were definitely people, as soon as Christina won, who had the knives out minute 1, day 1, to, watch her fail, help her implode. And, when those people were out doing that, it just fed into a culture of paranoia that just led into kind of a death spiral from, almost minute 1
100%
with the administration. And then they're because the people that have their knives out, the administration, they're paranoid of people. They don't want to accept any help. And it grew into what it ended up being.
Yeah.
So, that's I don't anticipate that there's going to be as much of that or any of that against Jim, because I think Jim he's
got political savvy.
He has political savvy. He has experience. He has the ability to fundraise, and he has a broader level of support in the party.
He's also very likable.
Yeah,
he is. Well,
he's not divisive.
And Larry, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I ever uttered a negative word against Christina until everything exploded. And then I weighed in, and I didn't even try to utter a negative word. I just said, I don't believe Christina is the best person for the job. She ran for Secretary of State. I believe she would have been a phenomenal and could still be a phenomenal Secretary of State on how damaged her political career is. I think she's well suited for that. Being a teacher or a professor That's a well-suited position, a professor, to go into an organization like the Secretary of State, right? You're not raising money. You're not doing campaigns. You're touching base with your leaders in all of your Secretary of State local offices and making sure, and then assessing policy in your tight little room. Perfect for a professor type mentality who's got a spiritual background, who taught religious things. But to walk into the chair of the GOP, you got to be able to raise money. You got to be able to work with the factions. You got to be able to do all of those things that a chair has to do. And I never felt she was suited for that. But it was a default that she went for. But again, correct me if I'm wrong, Larry. I don't think I weighed in until she started, until they called for her to be gone.
Well, I have to agree with you. It's the same with me. I mean, I was never a Christina Caramo fan when it came to chair. As much as I like Christina Caramo, which I still like her,
I think she's a great lady.
I didn't just, she wasn't chair material. Different people have different talents.
100%.
And just because you're not cut out to be chair, that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
You're cut out for something else where you can excel doing something different. I mean, we lived it here in Livingston County twice. I mean, while the Christina Caramo thing was going on, poor Jen Smith and the stuff going on behind the scene, which, being somebody that's been on the executive committee for a couple of years, I just don't. I'm not going to get into that, but we saw what happens in Livingston County when half the party takes their ball and goes home.
Yeah.
All right. How can you defeat the Democrats when half your team is sitting at home pouting?
Exactly.
And that's not a dig at the people. I'm not saying that. I'm not stabbing the people that went home. I'm making the point to where we have to work together. When Megan Reckling was chair, I worked to make sure the party succeeded. Right? When Jen Smith was chair, I worked to make sure the party succeeded.
Absolutely.
Now Deb Drick is chair, and I'm going to work to see that the party succeeds. Jim Runstead's going to be chair. Or he is the chair, and I'm going to work to see that he succeeds, just like I did Pete Hoekstra.
Because you're supporting the leader.
I'm supporting the team.
Yeah.
And we're changing coaches, and that's okay.
Right.
And we're supposed to every 2 years. But I mean, if we're so busy going at each other over stupid or silly things, how are we ever going to beat the Democrats in 2026?
And another thing is, if if your faction happen to lose for district chair or county chair or something like that, you can always just start a Republican club in your area. You can start a club with your handful of people. You can go out, you can recruit delegates, you can recruit candidates, you can fundraise, you can file for a PAC, for a 501c3 or C4. You can do all that sort of stuff, as I've done with the Grand New Party PAC.
Is that what your motivation was? It was like, I
was the 11th district chair because no one else would do it.
Right.
And I did one term. There were other people who wanted to do it, so I was out. And I never wanted to be a party aficionado, because who needs a headache? Who needs to be dealing with all the BS when you can just do the work without, having a party designation around you? But people like having the status of being an elected party official, even at the lower levels.
The only paid chair is the Michigan, what Jim just was elected to. That's the only paid party chair.
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Every other party chair, county and district,
Yeah, they're not paid.
they're not paid.
It's all volunteer.
And I recognized that day one. I was like, this is a non-paid position. Why am I going to come in here and give this person shit? If I'm going to be part of this, then how can I help you? Because you're volunteering at the highest level. I can volunteer at whatever level you require of me. And until let's shift back to this. Here's another question. We had such an abysmal low turnout this past year, and yet the numbers voting for Trump, and this goes back to what both of you are saying, the numbers for Trump, right? We elected what's her name? Slotkin,
Slutkin.
to the chair or to a Senate seat, right? But Trump took Michigan
Right.
in the vote. Now, I do believe there were a lot of Democrats who were tired of the bullshit and the lies coming from their own party who crossed over and said, I see how bad this is under Biden. It's just horrible. Why am I paying $7 to $10 for a dozen eggs?
Jeremy, there were 150,000 votes for other candidates in that race besides Slotkin and Mike Rogers. 150,000
Okay.
people that said screw both of them.
And if they would have gotten behind
Slotkin only won by 16,000 votes.
Okay.
And there was enough conservatives that stayed home, and I know there's more than 16,000 conservatives that put their hands in their pocket because of Mike Rogers.
And now let me interject. Let me interject here real quick. Is that Pete Hoekstra took over for Christina Caramo. Pete Hoekstra, longtime man of the establishment, tied in with all the consultant class. That is so reviled by the delegates. They were actually running the Mike Rogers campaign out of Michigan Republican Party headquarters before the primary was even over. So talk about putting your thumb on the scales to make this guy the heir apparent. And, it was that collusion that led to us having the worst U.S. Senate candidate possible. And then all those voters saying, screw this, I'll vote for nobody, or I'll flip over and vote Slotkin because I hate Mike Rogers so much. So that really cost us a U.S. Senate seat there, and that's also left a bad taste in a lot of delegates' mouths.
Well, it sure did. I talked to a bunch of people, and I talked to them before the election. I talked to them during the voting, while voting was going on, and I couldn't get them to budge. And there's no difference between the two. There actually was.
Yeah, I voted. I held my nose and voted Rogers.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I held my nose and I voted for Mike Rogers. We're screwed now. This is she's in there, and it's going to be very hard to get her out. If we can't win, if our candidate is so bad,
right,
that we can't win with Trump on the ticket.
Yeah,
Trump had coattails, just not
100%. Well, and I'm disappointed in this in that dynamic because I had Michael Hoover on here, who was phenomenal. This is a grassroots guy.
He didn't
self-made
even get the
man.
signatures, I don't think. Did he?
They never got behind this guy. He started his campaign months before anybody else. And I had him on here 3 different times. His wife came on once or twice in those 3 times.
Imagine having a likable candidate with a good business record, upstanding citizen, no political swamp creature,
self-made man. Phenomenal.
And you wouldn't need, the most charismatic Donald Trump candidates to beat Slotkin.
All they had to do was
someone who's solid and could, ride the wave, the Trump wave.
And if the local or if the state party would have got behind him immediately and said, all right, how do we get this? How do we do the signature drive? How do we get this out here? Because he got a lot of signatures, not enough to be on the ballot, but he got a lot of signatures. Self-made man. I don't know how much money he raised, but it wasn't enough. And when he withdrew, I was so disappointed because I met the man, looked him in the eye, and he said,
he was here 5 or 6 times.
At least. And he said, I believe that this, he said, I believe this is what God wants me to do in this hour. Now, I've seen many people that have said the same thing and they lose. And then they realize I learned a whole bunch of lessons and I'll take that into the next season and the next thing God's called me to do. If God doesn't give you a focus over here, you won't go after it with all your heart. And then when you realize that that's not going to happen, it's not to the person listening to the Lord, you're not going to be disappointed. You're going to go, okay, what did I learn as I walked that way? Because now you've got me walking this way. What did I learn, Lord? Well, you learned this, you learned this, you learned this, and you go, okay. So that was good that you got me in that direction. But now you've got me in another direction, and I would never have learned those lessons that I need to go in this direction now if I hadn't have gone in that direction with my whole heart, believing that that you wanted me to run for office or whatever the endeavor may be. And so I look at that guy, and I'm like, dude, this guy, his integrity, he would have mopped the floor with Slotkin. He wouldn't have been baited into the petty little shit, and he didn't have the baggage. He didn't have any of that baggage. And for people to say, well, that was his first time ever running, so was Trump in 2016, and he was
Exactly.
That's a plus.
Exactly.
That's a plus because you're new blood. You're not a career politician.
exactly.
You know, Mike Rogers has been in government or the federal government since the early 1990s. It's
Mhm.
not like he has a. It's one thing if, oh man, exemplary record. You know, he was like Ron Paul being there. No,
Right.
that guy he had the record on being on all the bad sides of every issues. And guess what?
Warhawk, never Trumper.
Yeah,
just,
Warhawk,
come
never
on.
Trumper, lobbyist who cashed in on his connections in D.C. after leaving Congress.
Yeah.
And guess what? He's running again in 2026.
Well, yeah, and
Ridiculous.
The biggest problem I heard, or the biggest thing that I heard from voters was it's just FBI versus CIA. When
Mhm.
it came to Rogers and Slotkin.
Right. And thank God, Cash Patel's in.
yeah,
And did you see
Dan Bongino?
Dan Bongino's is second? I love it.
Yeah, they're gonna clean that. They're gonna clean that one up. But I'm gonna drop something here.
You're gonna drop something?
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
gonna
drop it,
something.
and then I'm gonna make sure we go back to chat. There was a couple of questions asked, and I want to make sure the panel
Sure.
answers it. But drop it.
Okay, Senator Jonathan Lindsay, Michigan Senator Jonathan Lindsay.
Okay.
He's a rising star,
Okay.
and he could jump into that race for U.S. Senate, and he would be a blessing. He is the only legislator that has a slightly more conservative voting record than Jim Runstead.
Right.
He's the only one.
The only one, and those records for guys that are extremely conservative.
And that was only
like Jim,
one time, though. That's only
Correct.
one time.
What's-
Jim has been solidly the most
Right.
conservative legislator
100%.
in Michigan, but he got beat this last time by one guy, Senator Jonathan Lindsay, and I believe he's down along, I guess his district, I think, is southern, like along the
Mhm.
Ohio and Indiana
Yeah, it's
border.
like a Hillsdale area, Branch
Hillsdale.
County.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I
And
thought.
Senator
Yeah.
Lindsay received the 10th Amendment Award from the Grand New Party PAC. You were there doing.
I was there.
We appreciate
I
that.
did
of course.
some music.
Yes,
I
you
did a
did.
little acoustic jam.
Yes, you
Scared
did.
everybody out of the.
No, I played soft and sweet.
Did
It
that
was
happen-
soft-
Did
it was
that
soft
happen
and
in
sweet.
Redford?
Yes, that
Yeah,
was in
yeah.
Redford,
Yeah.
and Jonathan Lindsay received our 10th Amendment Award
Yeah.
for his support of the Defend the Guard Act, which is a very important legislation that would allow states to refuse to send National Guard troops into wars that have not been declared as legal by Congress. I don't think there's been a war declared
That's huge.
officially going back since probably World War II or Korea or something like that.
Just World War II.
Yeah,
Korea
so
was not declared. Neither
going-
was Vietnam.
Yep. So that, and a lot of the as the wars kind of rage on,
Yeah.
it's primarily National Guard troops who are over there, stationed over
Yeah.
in all these different
There's
foreign
actually
hellholes.
two gentlemen that you had there, the two main speakers there that I want. You said
We
gonna-
will set that up.
yeah,
for
we're going to
sure.
set them up and get there on for a Sunday night conversation. But I want to point out that George found out that I was going to play at the banquet, and he said, "You're going." How did you say it, George? He's eating popcorn. He's hungry. I put him on the spot.
He
He's-
was like, Jeremy, you are going over there? He said, yeah. You're going. I'm going to.
Yes.
Because I was asking, what is her name? I forgot the name. Who organized that? The girl?
Amber.
Amber. I was asking Amber, and I say, Amber, I want to come. Who is over there? Somebody that I know. I don't want to be myself. She said, I am over there, but I have to go back and forth.
Yeah, she's gonna be. Yeah.
And I was like,
Amber Harris?
how about Hema? Is Hema over there? She said, yeah, Hema is over there, and she was putting some money down for that one.
Yes.
Whatever.
Gracious sponsor for the event.
Yeah, and after I start talking about Jeremy, and she said, Jeremy's going to play over there. Oh, okay. I said, then
I'm in.
my name, don't erase my name. I'm over there.
George comes over. He's like, "What time you want me? Can I speak like you, George? I love
Go
it.
ahead.
I love it." He's like, "What time you want me be there?" I'm like, whatever time I told you." He's like, "Okay." And he gets here. He's all dressed nice. And I'm starting to grab equipment. And he's like, "What do you?" And he helps me load all the equipment, helps me unload all the equipment at the place.
He was
helps me
your
unload-
roadie.
He was my roadie, man. He was a badass. And he's like, "I'm
I
going."
enjoy time
yeah.
with you.
And then
yeah.
we ended up at
What was it? The Golden.
the Golden Door or
Yeah.
Golden whatever.
Actually,
it was.
our plan was to go
Yeah.
somewhere else, but since you guys went to the Golden Door
Yeah.
and it was too
The
late,
copper door.
The Copper Door.
Copper
Yeah,
Door.
the copper door. And
Over
I'm like,
there
okay.
with the Libertarians.
Yeah, but that was great. And yeah, the two gentlemen you had there, Jeremy and
Or it was.
Jeremy was the J6er.
Oh yeah, Jeremy Rogers, the
Yep.
January 6er,
Yep.
who was
And then-
pardoned and hopefully will be running for state rep soon.
And then
Then we had David Benner, the constitutional historian.
oh yes, he was great too.
and,
And then you had the guy,
Dan McKnight, who
the-
does Defend the Guard legislation.
defend. And I'd never heard of Defend the Guard. That was phenomenal stuff.
Mhm.
I tried to grab the papers, and I lingered enough where I was trying to connect with him. But again, like I said earlier in the show, I just lay back and I just wait for my opportunity, and if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, somebody else will connect, and it's good. But I that's part of the reason I have Larry trying to book the show and Shane booking stuff for me, is because I'm the guy. I can do this, but to be the guy that walks in and goes, "Hey, I'm Larry. How you doing? Come on the show." That's not my job. That's Larry's job. I want to go back to this and have
Is
you
that
guys-
my voice? Is that what I sound like?
a little bit.
Slightly.
Slightly. When that's the key to doing voices of different people. You don't have to sound exactly like them. You got to catch their cadence, and you sometimes the best way to do it is to over exaggerate a little bit. So when you do Obama, you really have to exaggerate the pauses. So I'm the long-legged Mac daddy, and so when I'm coming in here, better recognize.
And my wife.
And my wife, Michael, and I would like to extend our appreciation to having us here. Thank you. So you do those little bit of things. But I want to go back in here, and I thought this was appropriate. It was a while ago, and I didn't want to miss it. But where was it? Barron said, thoughts on Eye Patch McCain threatening Tucker. Did you guys catch this? Did you guys see it?
Oh yes, I did.
It was an open mic moment, and Eye Patch McCain, which I loathe. I think he's a despicable human being. He needs to find Jesus.
Who's Eye
think it is
Patch
hard-
McCain?
Larry, you're not with it. Dan Crenshaw.
Out of
Oh,
Texas, representative out of
yeah.
Texas.
Well,
He's beyond rhino.
Megan Reckling brought him to Livingston County.
Dude, that guy is demonic.
Yes.
I mean, he's demonic. I've watched his interactions with people that walk him on the street, and he responds like he's got a demon. I want to lay hands on him and cast it out and get him set free.
He's extremely arrogant. Extreme arrogance.
I think that's what the devil is, prideful and arrogant. Yeah, you're right. Anyways,
Yes.
The guy's messed up. So what do you guys think of this? He didn't realize the mic was open, and he said, "What do you think of Tucker Carlson?" He's like, "I'd kill that guy," or something like. I would. I think he said he would kill him. I don't have the clip, but
I would,
somebody
I
brought
would
up,
kill this guy for real. I'm not kidding. Something like that.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
I've never heard him.
You're
called the Eye
supposed to
Patch
be a
McCain,
Republican representative, and you're going to lambaste the out of 4 or 5 people, one of the icons of the conservative voices of the conservative media voices out there. You're gonna say you're gonna kill this guy or go after this guy? Are you kidding me? You already ruined your bad reputation, dude. So as far as Eye Patch McCain, fuck that guy. And I say that with all due respect. There was a couple
Wait a
other
minute.
things.
Wait a minute. The first one of the night.
No, I've had a couple other ones. You just missed it, Larry. I did them very subtle.
That's very,
Yeah.
very subtle.
And I got to get my daughter to make that. She's going to macrame me a couple of the F-bombs to where we can throw them down and they just make a.
I told you I'm going
a
to
slight
make you
thud.
on the lathe.
I know. On the lathe, but that's going to be loud, George. We have
No,
to pat it.
I can put some rubber underneath.
Dan Crenshaw
Don't let
wanted
the
to.
Saggies know about that.
Barron
They
says
might
Dan
wanna
Crenshaw wanted to
want
kill
one too.
Tucker because Tucker opposes aid to
Who?
Ukraine. That's what it was.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they never met a war that they didn't like. These rats, you know what? A true soldier, Larry, you can testify to this or disagree with me, but it's your choice. A true soldier, after serving, after having been in the theater, to whatever extent it was, never is an advocate for war.
Wait a minute. I gotta check my notes here. Hold on. See if I'm allowed to disagree with the host of a show.
Not unless you want your ass sent to Oklahoma with Tim.
Would you disagree with me?
Not on that statement. I was just being a smart.
You know what? I'm going to point out. I think it was one of the great generals, like Eisenhower. I want to say it was Eisenhower who said anybody who's ever truly been to war would never wish war on anyone.
Never.
Never.
You're absolutely
Never.
right.
You know, burying your friends isn't a good feeling.
And that's
not
what
only burying your friends,
Yeah.
even killing your enemy. You kill so many people,
Yeah.
and they come all the time and spin the wheels in your mind for all your life.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
How many have you killed, George?
I didn't.
that's honesty right there. A couple other things in chat. People care about Trump and his revolutionary populism. No one cares or likes the political party itself. That is exactly right. Is that the political party, and you know, they're riding the coattails of the party. They're riding the coattails. And then I watch this. I'm trying to get people to understand this without in any way attacking anybody. I don't want to attack anybody. And I wrote down in my notes a little earlier in the show. Actually, it was probably about 45 minutes in the show. I said, live it. Because I have this philosophy. If you're right, if you're doing the right thing, the last thing your default should be is to attack. And I'm not saying we don't say things about, obviously, you know, a bunch of leftists who are trying to harm kids, or I'm talking about within our circles of people who, as Larry said, the 90-10. I agree with you 90%, 10%. So now I'm going to attack you on the 10%. You know what? That 10% is behind closed doors, 1-on-1, 2-on-1, as scripture says, right? And then maybe you bring it before the assembly. But if you're bringing it before the assembly, you're not in a 90-10 situation. You're in maybe a 50-50, or maybe you're the other way around and you're 20-80, right?
Yeah, and it also depends on what that 10% is. I mean, if 10% is on serious Republican platform disagreements, you know, that's a different story than just
Crucify them.
Yeah, than if you voted wrong a couple times.
And
you know, I mean, there
might be some
difference.
deal breakers in there.
Correct. And as long as we have these omnibus bills, these bills that are packaged with all sorts of shit, you're never 100% on looking at a representative and saying, why didn't you vote on this? Now, I may disagree with them 100%. Okay. But they're packaged this shit in such a way that your representative gets up there and goes, this has got a little provision over here that's going to fuck my constituents specifically. I can't vote for this.
A poison pill.
And yet 95% of the bill is, you're like, why did you vote against that? Because this one spot right here is screwing my direct people. And I'm not saying every politician is pure as a driven snow and they're gonna do that, but I'm saying
Pure like yellow snow, you said?
Yellow snow. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But my whole point was that, you know what? If you're right, then live it. And it takes longer. Mark Twain said that a lie will travel around the world twice before the truth has a chance to get its pants on in the morning.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difficulty. Can you live it? Can you live it? I watched Trump and Elon, and they're continuing to do it. Well, Trump, Elon, and now everybody, right? Tulsi and
Cash Money.
Yeah. And I'm watching and RFK gets confirmed, and he's like, nothing's. Let me do this. Nothing's off the table. We're gonna go. Everything's gonna be. And I hate it. I'm meditating on RFK, and I'm like, dude, there's got to be some herbal remedy to fix his fucking throat. He had an issue and it messed up his throat, but I couldn't stand it. Anyways, I'm watching all of these guys, and Trump and Elon came out specifically and said, you know what? They're going to attack us no matter what. They're going to criticize us no matter what. So every decision we're going to do, every decision we make, we're just going to come out and do a little press conference on it and just tell you exactly what we're doing.
And just go ball. Why not go balls to the wall? Gangbusters on all of them if they're going to attack you anyway.
And didn't we say this? I think, Shane, you and me and Larry specifically, I think we said this on previous podcasts, is Why doesn't Trump do a fireside chat every night or at least once a week and just go, here's what we're doing. Here's why we're doing it. This is what's going on. They've gone 1,000% beyond that. It's daily, if not 2 or 3 times a day. Trump, this chick, what's her name? She's like 27. His
Levitt, leave it, love it or leave it.
The press.
Yeah, what's her name?
Carolyn Levitt.
Dude, she's a badass. She just comes out, calls him out,
And she's gorgeous.
and she's
too.
gorgeous, and she just
On
goes
top
to
of
it.
it.
Have you guys
Dude.
seen her husband?
No.
Is he sexy?
58-year-old man.
Wow.
Lucky
So you
guy.
guys-
He earned that.
You guys have a chance.
Yeah, he earned it. But I'm looking at her. I'm looking at specifically Elon and Trump, and I love it because Elon will come out and they don't get it. They don't get it in the media that Trump's coming or that Elon's coming out and he's going, well, we looked at this and there was a lot of abuse and I sent out an email and everything like that. And they come back to Trump like Trump has no clue, like he's Biden just taking a shit in his pants and heading to the beach. And they're like, President Trump, did you know that Elon sent out an email? He goes, yeah, it's a great email. I saw the email. It's great. It was a great email. We just want to find out if people are actually showing up to work. And if they don't respond, maybe they didn't respond on purpose, or maybe they don't even exist. So they might be fired, or maybe just at least laid off.
Maybe
He's like,
might be dead.
But either way,
Well,
you
wait,
don't
wait.
respond.
They might have been dead for 100 years.
They
They
might-
get paychecks.
They might actually be out getting transgender surgeries.
This is true.
It's
Did
the
you
second day, and finally I close it. Not I close it, but the other guy decided to stop talking with me. In Facebook was a comment, and I was like, okay, the other guy is like, oh, I like Trump, I like what he's doing, but I don't see any results. I said to him, what results do you want to see? Oh, and Elon Musk is using our money to do whatever he wants. And I said,
Like what?
what the heck? This exactly. What the heck? For what is he using our money? What I see and I read every day is that they found 2 billion here, 21 billion there, 3 trillion over there in Pentagon. They don't know where the fuck the money went, and all of this. And he said, "Yeah, I was."
You get the F-bomb right now.
I was checking, and he doesn't do what I was thinking, and a lot of people thinking that Trump is doing. And I was like, for example, I said, give me some information. And he said, all about Elon Musk. And I said, where do you read these ones? Because I want to understand, I want to see the narrative from both sides, from the left and from the right. I want to read both of them. Oh, I said, he said to me, in the books and in the movies. And I say, for example, and he's like, I'm not giving you examples. Start reading books. And I was like,
That's a deflection.
he just took the office and is exactly 33 years in the office. You are telling me that somewhere is any author that wrote the book in Elon Musk what he's doing now in Trump government? No, not about this one. But you have to read the other books. And I was like going forward, and the most one, the best part was like, oh, I read a lot of fact checkers, and I was like,
Wait.
you read
Let's
the-
clarify. George said fact checkers,
Hold on,
but
hold on.
it came
I
off
did-
as
I want to say,
okay.
well, I'm going to say it later.
Don't they?
I say to him,
They work in the porn
you are
industry?
talking about fact checkers at the same time when the owner of fact checkers deleted them from the surface of the earth. No, he didn't delete. They're still over there. And today in the morning, I was like, he wrote something, and I was like, okay, there you go. Go and watch and read everything from fact checkers.
George, I had to get a tissue. It made me cry.
Elon Musk is saying that? I didn't know that he's calling fact checker.
Fuck checkers.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
I think Elon Musk passed the fuck check because he has like 15 kids now.
Yeah, this is true. And X, he's carrying X. They tried to lambaste him for like 15 seconds of X going across the stage. And then Elon realized he wasn't following him and turned around and went and got him. And they clipped this 15 seconds where X
Oh,
goes to the other
no.
side of the stage. Look at how bad of a parody he is. I'm like, dude, my first wife, we would battle on this because I would know where my kids are, right? And she was hypersensitive and worried. Where are the kids? And I'm like, that one's over there in the, like, you remember the when you go in the stores and they got the clothes, the 360 on the clothes?
Yeah.
Kids would immediately dive into the middle of that and wonder where the other, hiding on the other kids. We got 3 kids, and we go into a store, and she's like, where are they? Where are they? And I'm not throwing her under the bus. I'm just that's a mom, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, calm down. That one's right over there. This one's down that aisle over there. And I just had a situational awareness that she didn't have. It's not a slight on her. It's just, it was where, but we would go to blows. She's like, you're not even paying attention. I'm like, that one's over there. Hey, come out of that thing. And they'd pop out, and I'd be like, he's right there. And I understand there are kids that get snatched right in front of people, right? I get it. So that was a heightened thing. And she was just doing her mom thing, and I get it. But I was also like, it's okay. And
I don't think X is going to get snatched.
No. And on a national stage, and he walks for 15 seconds in the opposite direction of his dad, pretty sure that kid's in the safest environment. It was like doing the funeral ceremony. And my mother-in-law says, are you going to take your gun, like carry my concealed with me? I'm like, no. I walk in there.
I thought you liked the Second Amendment.
And there are so many duck shotguns in the corner. They had shotguns in the corner of all of the buddies that Zach hunted with. And I'm like, I'm in the safest environment that I could ever be in. I'm like, are you ridiculous? In fact, Tyler, who followed me in doing the 2 eulogies that we did, his thing was, he wrote down everything on his page, right? He had in a page, and he's not a public speaker like me, so he did awesome. He did an awesome job. In fact, I sat back down, and the officiator got back up. And Tyler, I reached over and I grabbed Tyler's hand. And I goes, was that okay? And that's when he said the 9 years, 20 years, you nailed it. And he goes, but his first words to me when I sat back down before I grabbed his arm, he goes, you've done this before. Or he goes, you've done this before. Or you've done public speaking before. And I was like, yeah, a few times. Because I did tell him, because the guy who was officiating, he's like, I've been in the funeral home business for all of my life and done funerals, but I'm not a preacher. Yeah. So when I got up there, just a few minutes in, I said, yeah. I said, so I am a preacher. I do have, an ordained. I am an ordained minister, but I'm not full of shit. So let's just, have a conversation. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so when I sat back down, he goes, you've done this before. And I go, yeah. But he got up there and did this. So the whole thing, he did his speech. It was beautiful. He was only focused on, I was talking with the guys afterwards. His one focus was to do the duck calls after he got done with his speech. He's like, okay. And he got done, he put his paper down. He goes, okay, so what I want now is all of Zach's hunting buddies, everybody, I want you to come up here. And all of these guys came up the whole front of the room. And they were all wearing their calls. And they all got up there and did their duck calls or their goose calls in front of the whole place. And there were people that were like, had to hold their ears because it was deafening.
You can do that by your hand. You don't need the collar.
Right. But there were guys that had 3 or 4. I know you would know how to do it, George. I'm going to hook you up with my voice. But I was like,
I don't know. That sounded like gas.
There was somebody chatted in there that they can't believe that Larry hasn't dropped a fart by now. We're changing up the show a little bit. Anyways, but it was interesting to me. I'm like, look.
Yeah, we don't have any sound effects.
There's no sound effects over there.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to me to see the outpouring of that and to know I'm like, look, these guys, I'm in the safest environment that I can be in. I don't think I need to be packing,
Nothing will happen.
Right? And so you get in these environments where it's safe, and then other times
an armed society is a polite society.
Correct.
As it were.
Yeah, and it was gorgeous. We're coming up on the 9:30. Do we need to take a little break, guys?
Yeah.
How we feeling?
Fine, whatever you want.
Yeah, I got break media ready.
You got break meet? Look at Larry stepping up.
Larry.
They put
Yeah.
my wife's nephew. He was a Marine,
Mhm.
but very big guy. He used to go and order the shoes. They couldn't find shoes in the store.
Mhm.
When I'm telling, big guy, tall, very well built,
Yeah.
and he died in COVID during the COVID. And I can't believe that guy so strong like he was and well built can die from COVID. Anyway, he's gone. When I put him in the casket,
Yeah.
he wants to have hunting clothes, so they put him with the hunting clothes.
Nice. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
and so everybody knows what's going on tonight. I am actually in training.
Larry is in training.
I can tell by your body transformation.
Larry is in training, and Larry and I are tag teaming right now. If you guys don't know that, in fact, Larry, I'm going to go to your
Screen.
I'm going to go to your screen.
There you go.
These are the buttons, and if you guys, you know what? I'm going to put the thirds up here. Here's the buttons. All right, and so you saw that button disappear right there.
Larry's
saw that button disappear right there?
P90X.
Larry and I are actually we're tag teaming on the controls,
Working
and,
together here to
do this.
And it seems to be working very well.
Dude, I love it because either you're paying attention to it or I'm paying attention to it.
That's right. I'm watching you, and when you're not paying attention to it, I'm jumping in.
And we're switching this stuff, and I've got the camera controls over here. So like right now we're on the I'm on the table cam, and so we can do. Why didn't that switch? I was on the table cam. So look at this, guys. So here's the table cam in real time.
Look at that.
Look at that.
And then if I want to be mean, I can just change the cam.
And he can just change the cam. And when he comes back to me, comes back to the table cam, I'm zooming in. Look at that blue light on the
See the back
fish
of my
tank.
head.
Oh,
We've been watching the
yeah,
back
but
of your
you're
head. I've
not-
been trying to
it's not-
I've been trying to avoid the back of your head the whole show.
Yeah, but you got to switch. They
But look
can't
at
see
that.
You know, if Larry had made me move my chair up, you wouldn't be able to see it.
See that back of your head? We'll adjust
Oh.
it. But let's show them this one,
That's
Larry.
the
Just
man cave shot right
that's
there.
the man. It's gorgeous down there.
Yeah, look at that.
Let me show you this shot before we take our break. Look at this one. That is the fish tank.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's nice and blue.
Nice.
I need to adjust my times.
Nice esoteric shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the breaker got tripped, and I think my timer. I got these badass LED lights
Yeah.
that are on a 24 cycle, so they simulate full spectrum, like when the sunrise, the sunset, and the moonlight. So right now the fish are in moonlight, but I think they're off by an hour because they should be. They're not on what we're on right now. They're like on a summer cycle, not a winter cycle. So that would still be lit up, but you can see a little bit of blue light in there. It's beautiful. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do the break media here, recycled, and we'll see you guys in just a minute.
Okay. That looks like 3D, like you can go inside and swim.
And no sound on it.
There's no sound.
There's no sound on it.
Oops. Why is that?
I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna mess with the sound while you guys take your break because I'm
we
good.
off from the camera?
We're off from the camera, but we're still live with microphones that didn't.
Okay.
Didn't cut out our microphone. Microphones are up. Well, mine's back on now. Now
Yours are
now
back.
Larry's.
The criminal invaders. And speaking of criminal invaders, it's long overdue that Ilhan Omar be investigated for the alleged immigration fraud by apparently marrying her brother so that he could get papers to then stay in the United States. The Marxist Democrats and their mouthpieces in the media are increasingly upset about Doge, obviously, and now the 19-year-old who goes by the handle Big Balls, who's part of the Doge team, now has a State Department email address, since he is a staffer now for a government agency.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with Musk and Big Balls.
Anderson Cooper's favorite topic.
Big balls.
Big balls.
Big Balls, who work for Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, Doge.
The so-called Department of Government Efficiency? Sure looks like things are getting an awful more efficient to me.
Doge, in the one case of the Big Balls kid, a literal teenager.
Big Balls online, Big Balls here, that Katie's talking about.
A 19-year-old that goes by the username Big Balls.
So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
Literally every day, these lunatics are getting increasingly unhinged. Here is Democrat Congressman Kwepsi Mafum, or however you pronounce this loser's name, from Maryland.
This will be a congressional fight, a constitutional fight, a legal fight.
In order to stop cutting government waste. That's what they're upset about.
And on days like this, a street fight. Yes, we will stand.
That's what communists do. They organize useful idiots into angry mobs to threaten and intimidate normal people in whatever country it is they're trying to overthrow because, well, normal people don't want anything to do with the commies. Here is a reverend at a Baptist church in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
And in this nation, I'm worried that we are on the verge of bloodshed.
Yes, that's why we need to round up and arrest those on the left who are making such ridiculous threats.
This is an attempt to take us back to a day that we do not want to go and we will not go.
Where the government was efficient and the budget was balanced?
Therefore, there will be conflict. I pray that the peace of God will win out and overcome the madness that is attempting to take over this nation. And I will say to you, beloved, no one likes violence, but sometimes violence is necessary. When Elon Musk forces his way into the United States Treasury and threatens to steal your personal information and your Social Security check, there is a possibility of violence. Sometimes the devil will act so ugly that you have no other choice but to get violent.
Speaking of the devil, he's standing at that podium right there.
I'm going to try my best not to preach.
Yeah, sister, you go, girl.
I just want to say thank you, because every day that we show up in D.C., we show up for you. We know who we work for.
You work for the illegal aliens, but thankfully we're rounding them up and deporting them.
We know that we work for the American people. And what we're not going to do is stand around while they pull this bullshit that they trying to pull right now.
Okay. Excuse me, you ratchet hoe. We don't use language like that around here.
This is why I'm not going to be able to preach, because I probably won't be able to stop cussing. But let me tell y'all something. I know some of y'all have been frustrated, and you've been saying, where are the Democrats? Where are our leaders?
Your party has been humiliated. You have no leadership. It's in complete disarray. And instead of trying to come to grips with reality and coming back to some normal policies, you decided to double down on wokeness. Here's Mark Cuban, best known for getting extremely lucky during the dot-com boom by having one of the companies he invested in get purchased by Yahoo for billions of dollars, which then realized that it wasn't even profitable and then shut it down, saying, some normal things back in 2017 about cutting government waste and government spending.
As a libertarian, I think we can reduce employment in government by at least a third, reduce the overhead and administration by that much or more, so that we can offer more to services for our citizens. And so if when it comes down to it, where I tend to disagree with everybody, and this is the libertarian in me, I'm happy to push down the size of government, and I'm happy to work on making government more efficient, because then more money can pass through and help the people who need it.
That was obviously before he came down with Trump derangement syndrome, because now he is one of Elon and Donald Trump's biggest critics and thinks that Doge is ridiculous. Here's Jon Stewart, who occasionally does call out the left for their nonsense, or just general nonpartisan nonsense that every American can agree on, or at least used to agree on before Trump derangement syndrome, talking about the Pentagon just wasting countless billions of our dollars. This is him sitting down with Joe Biden's defense deputy secretary.
To be doing, like, there is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits and waste, fraud, and abuse are not the same thing. So let's decompose these
please
pieces for a
educate me
moment.
on
Sure.
what
So an
the
audit is
difference.
exactly
This is in light of the Pentagon failing like their 7th audit in a row.
which you just described,
Yes.
which is, do I know what was delivered to which place?
Right.
The ability to pass an audit or the fact that the DOD has not passed an audit is not suggestive of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is completely false right there. So
what is
now
it
it's a
suggestive
question of it's suggestive that we don't have an accurate inventory that we can pull up of what we have where. That is not the same as saying we can't do that because waste, fraud, and abuse has occurred.
So in my world,
Yeah.
that's waste.
How is that waste?
If I give you $1 billion and you can't tell me what happened to it, that to me is wasteful. That means you
Well,
are
we didn't
not
necessarily-
responsible. But if you can't tell me where it went, then what am I supposed to think?
And now CBS News has an exclusive interview with one of the U.S. aid employees who has been fired for wasting our tax dollars on, well, transgender surgeries for people in third world countries, among other things.
Why in our conversation do you think you need to remain anonymous?
It has been a very hard week. Personally, professionally, as I said, I live in Washington, D.C. Many of my colleagues work in this field. Starting from January 21st, so the first day of the new administration,
They're making it seem like this is some groundbreaking whistleblower. That's why they put him in a silhouette, and they're even disguising their voice because they got their feelings hurt because they were laid off. I mean, what's next? Are they going to claim that the Doge layoffs are disproportionately affecting black people and are racist? Oh, wait, what's this?
The federal workforce is the largest employer in the nation, and federal data shows that black Americans who have historically found greater equity in the public sector compared to the private sector will disproportionately bear the brunt of Trump's effort to gut the federal workforce.
What he means is a bunch of DEI hires are going to be fired. Bye-bye!
This is my brain.
And we're back. Here we are.
And everything come out all right?
I think it came out all right. And I found out why the computer over there was muted.
Why would you mute the computer?
You know what? There are a lot of things that I don't do that just happen on purpose. Why you guys are? You find it? You find it, Georgie?
No.
Georgie's trying to find Eye Patch McCain because him and Larry have
Maybe
never
I
heard
don't-
Crenshaw.
Yeah, I've never heard it. Yeah,
Eye
that guy's a
Patch.
scumbag, by the way.
He is.
He's a scumbag.
I patched TCH.
Eye Patch.
And Megan Reckling brought him to Livingston County.
And they heard that.
And
she probably thought we're bringing in a real hell of a conservative leader.
Yeah.
A veteran.
I was
a
not
SEAL,
at that event.
You know, it's like you know what? Not everybody who serves in the army. I give salute to all of our troops collectively, but not everybody who serves is a good person.
And some are getting paid off by the defense contractors to push more wars and more foreign interventions. And that's not good.
100%. Shane, let's get into this. You were at CPAC, as you noted earlier, but we didn't really dive into it, right? Or did we dive into it?
No, we
It's
did
been an
not.
hour and a
We
half.
did not.
It's just-
So I
you
know I
defaulted
said
to
you-
Larry, which I don't know if that was the wisest decision, but you did. You defaulted to Larry, and so I'm going to pull up some of these.
Some of the pictures.
There's why did, oh, there it went.
Trump
And
2028.
So that
Yeah.
was my campaign. So I was
Uh,
there as part of the third term project.
And is that who I think it is?
And that is Steve Bannon.
Steve
So
Bannon.
we confronted Steve Bannon and we're like, hey, you want one of our stickers, Trump 2028? He's like, yes. He has a smile on his face. Puts it out in front of a bunch of reporters and he's on board. So he likes the idea of the third term project. And wait until you see the banner that we made.
I have not
favor
heard this.
of it.
Now, this is the third term project. Is this This is a grassroots rising thing. It's not just from the Grand New Party because you
This
guys are
is-
rebels. We
we
know this.
This is a national thing. So
National thing. Okay.
It's a national coalition of different groups. I'm the campaign lead.
Okay.
One of the groups that I'm affiliated with that does a lot of national and international work called Republicans for National Renewal. They're taking the kind of the first step forward to getting the coalition going. Got a few more groups that have committed to joining. But I'm the national campaign lead and the spokesman for the Third Term Project. And let's see, I think the next picture should be, I think it's me talking to a reporter.
All right, let me switch
Do
to
me a
that.
favor. Next time when you have those events, let me know, please.
I will keep you in the loop. So
there's the reporter there.
There I am talking to the reporter from the Washington Examiner. It's one of the many places that covered the Third Term Project.
I'm covering you up. I don't want to do that. There we go. You're in your bottom corner.
Newsweek, the New York Times, Raw Story.
Okay.
So I think we got over a dozen different stories made about us. USA Today did a really good one, and they're the ones who did this, the next shot, the one of me by the poster we made. So as you
For
can
Trump
see there,
2028 and beyond. Look at you, and you got him in the Roman emperor, the Roman Caesar
yes,
look.
So that's really our,
Can you imagine Trump in a blonde fro?
He look great.
Well, Democrats are terrified. of
So this went.
They're talking
Look what he's
about
done in 30 days. It's
imagine what he could do in 8 more years. So
yeah,
this guy. So that banner that we did a press conference, and the optics of Trump as Caesar really made the liberals go wild. This got many millions of views on X.
Are you going to start a series like the Girls Gone Wild, but not illegal?
Libtards Gone Wild.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, so we've got millions of views
start with
on
the
Reddit.
saggies.
All the shit lives on Reddit. They upvoted it 50,000 times. They're just posting shit. They're so pissed about it. So it works on many levels. First off, I think it's a worthwhile campaign.
Absolutely.
Representative Andy Ogles of Tennessee has introduced the resolution for a constitutional amendment on the House floor, and it would allow any president to serve up to 3 terms, but only 2 consecutive terms. So if President Obama or Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, they all serve 2 terms, so they can't. They're good.
Right.
They're spoken for.
That's very wise. Very wise.
But President Trump, he served 1 term.
Yeah.
Then he was cheated out of his rightful 2nd term. Now he's getting his 2nd term, and that kind of interrupted his ability to enact his agenda.
Yeah.
So he deserves a rightful consecutive term for his 3rd term, and that's what the Third Term Project is all about.
That is
That'll
very
be great.
wise and may carry some heavy weight. Dude.
Whoa,
That could have some heavy weight going.
that
through
is
it. That's there. Who's the boys behind that brought up that wisdom? I mean, that's
Representative Ogles in Tennessee came up with that one,
Okay.
and we're 100% behind that.
Yeah.
We're looking, we're researching for other avenues that this could be done. We like the idea.
So
and
that means Jimmy Carter could have run for 2 more terms.
yeah, that's going to happen. I think he passed away though.
passed away.
Unless they did
That's
the
why
whole.
they
it's
do the
tense.
Unless they do
bury him in the pet cemetery.
Probably we have
Well-
to ask Musk. Probably they are still paying him.
Right, unless they do the Futurama and have his head in a jar. I don't
Like they
think
did with Nixon.
Nixon, yeah, with Nixon. But yeah, is there any more on that one, Shane?
Just that, go to
there's
this
that
is
one.
you'll go this one in a second, but go to thirdtermproject.com if you want more information about that. And this was a guy I was very happy to meet. He took his
A
name
J6er.
his name is Big O.
I seen him somewhere.
Yep, Rich O. Yes, you have Richard Barnett, and he was the gentleman who put his feet up on Pelosi's desk inside the U.S. Capitol.
Now he did not shit in the desk.
He did not defecate in the desk. He's just put.
Did you see how he cleaned
put
that
his,
up for me?
He put his feet.
Defecate.
He put his feet on the people's desk, as he said, the people's desk. It wasn't Pelosi's desk. It belonged to the people.
Right.
And he got his full pardon. He is completely exonerated. He was, taking pictures with the pardon. This was at a place called Buttersworth, which is or Butterworths. This is like the most, pro MAGA bar in all of Detroit,
Okay.
or in all of Washington, D.C., rather. So all the different Patriots go down there and party and have fun and network with everyone. You see Scott Pressler down there. You'll see Steve Bannon. You'll see the whole gang. Raheem Kassam actually is a co-owner of the bar, the guy from Nigel Farage's dude.
Okay.
Like,
overseas.
anybody can get in the bar?
Oh yeah, I mean sometimes they have like private events, but usually it's just come on in and have some drinks, and like they have like all the drink names are like named after like Trump and
Nice.
political related terms and stuff. So it's a pretty fun, cool old bar that they refurbished and made into the MAGA hangout. But I was happy to meet
In
Big
DC?
O in DC. Yes.
Yeah.
And I was happy to meet Big O there, and we will hopefully be bringing Big O to Michigan for an event that we have coming up called January 6th, Patriots Vindicated. I'm going to
Okay.
send you some more information about that in a second. But
And you talked about hopefully being able to book him for the podcast here.
yeah, so he said that he would definitely zoom in and maybe see if he could actually fly in and meet people at the event. We're talking to Ryan Kelly about having him there. We're going to have the Null brothers there. We're going to have Jeremy Rogers there.
Yeah, he was great.
Yep. So it's gonna be just a celebration of all these people, the people who, so many, obviously the liberals wanted to throw them under the bus, but so many weak-minded, soft conservatives wanted to throw these patriots under the bus too.
Yeah.
But now they've all been vindicated, and now we're going to treat them like the heroes, give them the heroes welcome that they deserve,
100%.
and then hopefully start supporting these people as they start running for higher office as well. So I sent you the graphic
Another
for
one?
that. So
There
yeah,
it is.
Patriots
Okay.
Vindicated. It's coming up on March 15th at the Iron Pig Smokehouse in Gaylord. $40 prepay, $50 at the door.
Who's doing
with
music?
me- What was that?
Music.
There's always the need for music. I see what you're trying to do there.
We can go together.
But yeah, it's at the Iron Pig Smokehouse. That's a guy.
You know what? I can't. That's when we do St. Patty's Day here.
Oh, is that San St. Pat? Oh, that's 2 days before.
2 days before, but we do the Saturday before
Damn.
St. Patty's Day. We do that here, and the band's going to be here. I'm going to be doing corned beef brisket on the smoker.
Well, maybe we could like try to tape Big O like the week of or something like that.
Well, that Sunday would be open.
Okay, well maybe if he comes in, we
To
could bring
come
him
into-
in Sunday
in the studio and have him here. Yeah,
have that be
that'd
the
be
day.
phenomenal, dude. That'd be
Okay,
phenomenal.
we'll work something out
We'll
there.
figure it out,
But yeah, Big O is a cool dude, and
Yeah.
and I'll tell you what, CPAC, maybe the head brass of CPAC may have given some of the Jan Sixers a hard time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
unfortunately.
about that. I didn't want to make a big deal of it, but I watched a couple other podcasts, and there was one of the big Jan Sixer guys that did a lot of time. Was held without any
Mhm.
trial for a better part of 4.5 years, almost 5 years. And he bought a table, and he had a whole bunch of T-shirts, a whole bunch of merch there, and they were promoting just conservative. I don't know what the exact merch was, but he was on one of the podcasts that I like to watch, and he got on there and he was quite angry about this because he got confronted and booted out, and then eventually they came back. And you obviously are not speaking on behalf of the CPAC people, but I
Yes.
wanted to know you. I wanted to see your observations just looking at that. You know, what did you see? And you responded in kind of. You want to share that with everybody?
Yeah, the actual rank and file of CPAC, the attendees, were greeting the Jan Sixers like they were royalty or like that.
Mhm.
They're, American heroes. People
Right.
were, thank you for what you did. Thank you
Right.
for what you did,
Of
sir.
course.
Yeah.
And, so now with Trump pardoning these people, they've been fully vindicated. They are now seen as folk heroes in the conservative movement, the Proud Boys. Remember them? Remember those guys?
Yeah.
Thrown
White
in prison,
supremacists,
driven
all the-
underground.
Well, some of
their
them
name
weren't
was
even
Mud.
there.
Yeah, their name was considered mud in the conservative movement, and no one wanted to touch them with a 10-foot pole. Well, they were greeted like heroes there. The Joe Biggs, formerly of InfoWars, was there.
Biggs is awesome, dude.
And so was Enrique Tarrio.
Enrique Tarrio.
They went to the Capitol and had a press conference in front of the Capitol where they announced that they're going to do a big civil rights lawsuit against the DOJ.
100%.
They launched a meme coin called the Proud Coin. and they
Okay.
raised millions off of it, and that money's going to be going not just to the lawsuit, but also to help the families of downtrodden J6ers who had their lives destroyed by the federal government.
And
So
then
it's
they
very
came, and
hopeful
these
stuff,
sons of
heroic
bitches.
stuff.
You're right. And then these sons of bitches came in and arrested a couple of the Proud Boys that just hung out afterwards in the Capitol and took pictures. And they basically did like a process crime type of thing where you loitered for a little bit, so we're going to arrest you just to fuck with them, just to let them know that we're still messing with you.
We're still screwing you.
Yeah.
Oh, we still have the power in our hands.
Exactly. And they did nothing. And I'm like, you know what? When you guys are face to face with this, I hope, look, everybody that got a pardon and they're assessing the preemptive pardons that Biden put out, which are, I think to me are bullshit, but he did it with, there is a precedent for preemptive pardons. They did it with Nixon, right? Once Nixon left office, Ford issued him basically a preemptive pardon of anything that might come down. That was never challenged. It was never put to the test that if they could have come after him. And I think Nixon was ultimately more of a patsy, more of an idiot in that whole scenario.
And don't tell that to Roger Stone now.
What would Roger say?
Stone, have you seen Stone's tattoo?
No, I know that, but Roger would say that Stone was duped by,
or Nixon was duped.
Nixon was duped by the CIA, deep state. Nixon's crime was to cover up for a bunch of fucking idiots that he never authorized to go into the DNC and spy in any way, shape, or form. He did have an enemies list. He was a little bit paranoid, but he never authorized. He never authorized the same guy that ultimately confessed on his deathbed to shooting Kennedy to have him go into the DNC and find that out, right? So I would say on that behalf is that Nixon they wanted Nixon out. Other than Trump, Nixon is the most popular president in American history. Other than
I was thinking
Washington. Washington was elected unanimously. Nixon is the most popular president in his reelection in America. Correct me if I'm wrong, Shane.
He was, he won by overwhelming landslide margin. I think more than what even Nixon won by in his reelection campaign.
Nixon.
Or by Reagan, even won
Reagan.
more than
And
Reagan.
This is what I was thinking.
Reagan won with the Electoral College vote, but Nixon had the popular vote beyond the percentage of the popular vote. Nixon blows anybody away in the percentage of the popular vote. Nixon was phenomenal because Nixon came in on a platform of ending Vietnam, and he was serious about it. And this fucker would sneak out in the middle of the night from the White House without Secret Service detail and end up somewhere in Washington, D.C. and talk with the young people and the protesters. And this is well documented that he would just show up like at the Lincoln Memorial where people were kind of camped out.
He would just get their opinions on things.
He's like, "What do you guys think about this?" And they're like, "This is really pretty fucked up, Mr. President, and we want this stuff." And he's like, "Okay, And so this is not to say that Lincoln or that Nixon was a
damn dirty hippie.
Right. But this is not to say that Nixon was a perfect person, right? But this is to say this is the guy who made inroads into China, which China was a communist CIA creation, removing Chiang Kai-shek and putting in Mao Zedong and doing all this stuff.
Hey, let's not say any slurs now.
I'm gonna say, but he was the first president to make inroads to go into China and open it up, not for the same bullshit that previous successive presidents did of making it shipping our commodities abroad, but to open up trade and dialogue. Nixon was the first president to open up trade and dialogue.
Was he business oriented?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, phenomenal. And he had a really strong religious background. So I'm not trying to, deify Nixon in any way. But when you actually study the history and you listen to a lot of what Roger Stone has to say about it, Nixon was a phenomenal president. And he was duped into covering up for a bunch of dipshits or on purpose CIA assholes who derailed his presidency. Similar, not in the exact same way, but similar to Reagan getting shot by one of his own agents. It's coming out that he was probably shot not by Hinckley, but by one of his own agents. because Bush
When they
wanted
shot him?
Bush wanted to neutralize him. Now I've watched different videos on it where there was a deflected bullet that hit him, that ended up hitting him in the chest, and if he wouldn't have gone to Walter Reed and they didn't do a second X-ray, the bullet was lodged in a place where if they would have released him, he'd have been dead in 24 hours. But either way, that was in the first year of Reagan's presidency, and they
wanted
were
to send
able,
a message.
They wanted to send a message to him. Same with Nixon. Nixon was very popular. He was going to end stuff. One of his big mistakes was taking us off the gold standard. Roger has said that.
Yes.
But one of his second mistakes was covering up. He should have and this is all hindsight. This is armchair quarterback, but Nixon should have come out immediately and said, "I didn't authorize these guys to go in here. And we're going to figure out what's going on. And if they were acting on my behalf in good conscience, I will, as Reagan said later, the buck stops with me as far as Iran Contra. Reagan came out and said, you know what?
I don't remember.
He goes, yes,
I don't
I remember.
recall.
He said that I did not authorize this, but as the commander in chief, the buck stops with me. We had Oliver North and all this other shit with Iran Contra, and he's like, I did not authorize trading those weapons, but I did authorize people who ultimately did do this, and so the buck stops with me. So Reagan owned it, Nixon owned it, but should they have just kicked people to the curb and said, I didn't tell you to fucking do that. What are you doing?
Trump would have been like, hey, you did Iran Contra, you're fired.
You're fired.
I never trusted that guy anyway.
Exactly. I hit the button and didn't hit your camera correctly. Here, let's do this. So then nobody knows Larry's gone.
Oh yeah, Larry, calm down over there,
Do
Larry.
you guys heard about a guy with name Chris LaCivita?
Yeah, he's one of Trump's goons.
Okay, do you know Trump's where he is right now?
What's he doing right now?
Right now he's in Albania and trying to help the conservative side of Albanian to win and to come back in a government.
Did you send that to me?
Because
George,
I sent you a while ago.
Is it in my thing?
What is happening over there? The liberals over there, together with Soros. Albania was like a
I'm not seeing
lab for Soros. So he tried everything over there, and from there he took to the other countries in Europe. And Soros invested in Albania a lot of money. And
Soros is a piece of shit.
Yeah, but
I'm just going on record and saying that.
Don't say anything you can't take back.
Chris LaCivita is over there now and is trying to organize the right wing of Albanian politics to win.
That's good. I mean,
and there are a lot of politicians that are very corrupt and are trying to put them out of political life and in jail too.
Well, I'm sure. Look at what they did in Romania. They just canceled the election. The wrong guy won.
Yeah.
We're going to cancel it, and then we'll just keep kicking the can down the road as long as possible and try to delay the inevitable. See what we can come up with to steal it.
Did you hear Infowars Alex interview him today?
Georgescu. I did not hear the interview, but I know he's been an Infowars guy for a while.
He had a great interview with Alex today. In fact, he was.
Who was that guy?
Kellen Georgescu from Romania.
Yeah, last name seems from Romania, but who is this guy in Romania?
He was the guy who actually won the presidency, and the EU swept in and nullified the election and booted him out. And he sat there and basically the whole interview was Alex asking him to address President Trump and to address Elon and what he would ask them to do. And when he was talking about President Trump, he said, look, President Trump, your country represents freedom throughout the world, and your flag represents freedom. So stand up fast in that freedom, and people will rally behind that moniker, that icon, and we will the people will respond, and so he's fighting for his life.
What's interesting about this Georgescu guy was that he was basically a kind of a fringe third rail kind of guy, the far right, but then he started making TikTok videos,
Right.
And his TikTok video started going viral. 80 million views on TikTok.
Yeah.
Wow.
Next thing you know, it's 3 weeks before the election. He's gone up 40 points in the polls.
Right.
And they don't know what everyone's pissing themselves. Well, then after he wins, oh, well, the Russians, there were Russians who liked his stuff on TikTok. So the Russians are behind it.
Yeah.
That's literally what they said. And to try
Bullshit.
but
anytime they say Russian is behind,
bullshit.
Is bullshit.
Yeah.
And isn't
that automatic? It's like you got a stamper.
Russian.
I was telling
Bullshit.
them I was telling a couple of friends of mine long time ago when Ukraine war started, and they told me, "You are pro-Russian." I said, "No, I'm not pro-Russian." Wait, I told them, let's see. I'm telling you, the Russian have a right to go and fight for their own people. A couple of months later, he was like, "Yeah, I'm educating myself with that Russian right now, and you are right."
Yeah, now they have to basically admit that the war's over and Putin won, which was obvious years ago, but now the money's going dry and reality's sinking in for the globalists. And
I hit my button. I love that little homo
the dick dancer,
penis piano player. He's like, hey, I don't know what's the accent in Ukraine.
Pretty much like mine.
Is it Russian like this? He's like, look, man, I don't know where money go. I only get like 70 billion of 300 billion. So don't fucking blame me or ask for me. And speaking of that, I put it in the notes tonight. Zelensky caves on the mineral deal.
Nice.
This fucking drunken coke addict finally he walked away from what, 3 meetings or at least 2 meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a 3rd meeting, and this fucker finally shows up, and he's like, you know what, I'm
screwed.
I'm screwed. I'm gonna give them. And Trump's brilliant on this. He's like, look, we give you all this.
I'll relieve you of those minerals. You want something from me? Give me some minerals.
He's like, look, man, we give you a lot of money, billions of dollars that you can't account for. How about you give us mineral rights in your country so that we can at least get that out of the deal? And he's like, no, go fuck yourself. I am stoned off my ass. And 3 days later, he's like, okay, what you say before? We do that.
Pretty much. Isn't that amazing? The same shit was with Mexico. That bitch from Mexico was like,
yes.
Hey, you are going to
she's
see,
like,
we're going to
how you
find-"
do this? No, fuck you. I don't think so. No. Okay.
And that goes
okay.
away. And after
okay.
is Chile.
Yeah. Okay.
You can't land at your airplanes here.
Yeah.
Really? No, you can now.
Yeah,
and after
go
comes
ahead.
Paraguay. Say,
You get
if
plane
you
here
have
now.
the people for a jail, bring here.
Yeah. You like that?
Now I'm waiting for Canada to see.
Trudeau.
Dude,
I love the trolling that Trump's doing, and the media's buying into all this shit so hardcore.
Yeah.
Like Trump's talking about making a 51st. Dude, we don't want fucking the burden of having to maintain Canada's social safety net. We're not going to do that shit.
No,
we want to fucking. Why would we
Why do
want
we
to do
want
that?
to pay for their failed healthcare system?
Right. So when
Did
he
you guys-
trolls
did you
them
guys see
about being the
that?
51st state, it's all a troll.
Did you guys see that hockey game?
Dude,
Yeah.
I was so pissed.
Or you mean the one they won?
Oh, the one they won was
Then
awesome.
Badass.
3 fucking fights in the first 9 seconds,
That's
and then we
like-
lose in overtime.
Trump made
And
hockey. Trump made hockey great again.
Dude. Hey, listen, I play hockey, and I'm going to tell you what. Hockey is the most expensive sport out there.
Is it really?
Me and my buddy were talking about it. We're like, you're like, soccer? You don't even need shoes. There are people all over the world. They're just like, if you got a ball and you can make a ball, you can make the ball out of just a bunch of shit that you roll together. So it's like soccer's easy. That's why soccer's huge
You can
throughout
make
the
it
world.
out of stuff that you roll together, like
Just roll together.
You can make a
spit out.
marijuana ball.
You can roll it together.
Whatever you want,
man.
Put some
Brother.
spit on it.
Pass me that wacky
And
tobacco,
marijuana
brother. I
ball
like what you're
sticks
saying.
very good together.
Roll
from
a
the
ball
rest.
together, spit on it. But dude, if you gotta get some hockey shit, I went today. So I'm a goalie. my equipment's moderate, but it's still expensive. Like I use a $320 stick as a goalie.
Why don't you go to Play It Again Sports?
$320 stick.
Yes.
Carbon fiber?
One stick.
Carbon fiber?
Oh yeah, it's fucking carbon fiber. It's gorgeous. It's a Warrior stick or a Bauer stick. I use mostly Warrior gear, but we have a rotation with our couple of skates, and so every once in a while, I take one of the skates off because of one of our other goalies. It's his turn, because if one of us gets hurt, which we've had in the past,
correct,
we've got to have a good normal rotation of 3 or 4 guys. Anyways, so today I'm like, you know what? It's Frank's turn. Frank and Mike are up for skating. I'll skate out tomorrow, meaning I won't play goalie. I'll skate as a regular player.
Yeah, regular player.
And I went down to the thing, and I'm like, $300 later, I got a stick, elbow pads, shin pads, and a practice puck. And my skates sharpened. And I'm like, you know what? I don't skate out. And I'm like, dude, this is why football, baseball. Listen, baseball. Shoeless Joe Jackson should tell you that he didn't have shoes, right? And he barely had a glove. Those gloves back then were like really pathetic. But they played baseball. You got a glove and maybe some shoes. You can play baseball. You've got maybe a leather cap to put on to play some football. You know, a cup maybe.
Rugby.
Right?
Rugby.
Right? Hockey, you got to have all sorts of shit to get out there and go, dude, because that's hardcore. So it's one of the most expensive sports, and out of the 4 major sports, it's the least. What do you got to have in basketball? A pair of shoes and a ball.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, obviously you got clothes on, but that doesn't count as a uniform, right?
Do you know how the goalie in hockey looks to me? Do you remember the movie The Last Samurai, when they put all the warrior clothes?
Oh yeah,
and when I see the goalie, it looks like The Last Samurai. He's missing a sword over there.
It's like, yeah. I love it.
Why you got to be so racist against Asians?
You know, I love it, Asians. They're so awesome to me. Listen, Wes Nakagiri is welcome here every time. Wes Nakagiri is welcome here every single time. Wes is so awesome.
He was on the other podcast today.
It's okay. Glenn,
moving on.
Time for Harry Carey.
Moving on.
Glenn,
we've covered the Michigan GOP convention. The chair winner, Jim Runstead. Shane has covered. Anything else to say on CPAC there, Shane?
Just that it's really nice to see how the momentum has shifted. The tide has turned. Now, the Proud Boys who were so down, all these people were in prison, looked like they might spend their lives in prison.
Yeah.
They're all free and they're all American heroes, and they're worshipped, not worshipped, but they are revered.
At least honored,
revered among the mainstream of the conservative movement.
Some of the Blue Bloods are like,
well, the Blue Bloods, they're out. I mean, they're out. I mean, they don't know. They're not involved like they used to be, or they're going along with it because they have no other option but to go along with it. So the rank and file conservatives has been such a tidal wave shift over the past couple decades, from George W. Bush's until now.
Yeah.
And regardless of all the tumultuousness in the Republican Party, the local Republican Party, and how off-putting that can be, looking at the big picture, there is so much to be optimistic about, and there's so much momentum behind us, and there's been a shift in the public consciousness, and it's a lot for us to build upon and continue doing our important work. So keep up the good work. You guys, everyone else listening, be very encouraged, because there's a lot of great things going on right now.
And I did send you some pictures from the convention. If you want to
Fix your mic, I can't hear you. Pictures from the convention?
Yes.
All right, we'll do this, and I'm going to throw this question out. So pictures from the convention from Larry. This is the Michigan GOP convention. Yeah, we're going to, well, just turn your mic.
You can watch Larry thwarting his enemies.
It's all good. You're good. It was hitting your necklace before, and then no, you're good, Larry. What's this one?
Larry and our next governor.
Who is that guy? Who is that guy?
Oh, is that
that's Ryan Kelly?
Ryan Kelly.
J6 Patriot All-Star, Ryan Kelly.
There you go.
Yeah.
It doesn't slide. I don't see a slide button, so I'm gonna.
I met him in 2022.
It's odd that it doesn't slide. Oh, that's because that one's by itself.
That one's by itself. All right. How about these ones?
Yeah, those ones
there we go.
Should slide.
Well, look at that. That looks like some friends of ours.
Yes.
There's Joni Jojo and
yes, and this is
and Tommy.
Yep, this is at the bar across the street at Jim Runstead's
Okay.
party the night.
I don't have a
before.
button for that either. It's not sliding.
That's odd.
It is
maybe
odd.
you just got to click on the bottom.
All right. Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah,
There's Larry and who's this gal here?
Well,
That's Londa. Yeah, that's Londa. And then
Jeff
we got our Jeff Vega right there. And then let's do this.
the
And there's
girl
Vega
from-
talking with.
I can't remember that lady's name.
Good
She's
job.
spelling it, Yeah.
There's this guy.
Yeah.
You know that
And the
guy?
guy
I
behind.
think his name is.
And behind him is our very own Norris Hardiman. He's hanging with his son tonight.
Yes.
He was gonna regale us with speeches about racism and the bullshit that the Saggies tried to say here in Livingston County.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after.
In just a minute. Yeah. And there's there's Larry and then Tom.
Yeah.
Our
You know,
Tom
Tom
Ecom.
his roots are from Greece.
I love Tommy. Tommy's
He's a nice guy.
When I met Tommy, it was at the first time when I was over voting, and him and Joni, I was there, and I'm like, holy shit, I know you. And we figured it took us a little while to figure out. I'm like, wait a minute, you're a referee, I'm a goalie, and he's like, what team? And I'm like, and I was like, told him the team, and he's like, oh, he's like, dude, yeah. And we go back and forth all the time on that. What's this? This is the whole convention. There's Vegas sitting there.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like the whole convention. This looks like a segment.
all
of it.
those political insiders.
What's with the yellow camouflage hat with the gun on it? Sakin, what's that say?
I think that's
This
the
is make
that's
Geo-
the hat for Sella, make MIGOP great again.
Well, that's a good slogan. That's a good sentiment.
I think that was normal.
Oh, there it is. Now I've got the arrows. Now I've got the arrows, Larry.
Yeah. Now they.
Now
show
the
up.
arrows are working.
Who is the blonde lady again?
That's Londa. She's been on the show before.
I don't know.
Yeah.
She's really focused on the biker chicks for Trump.
Bikers
What's it called? What's it called?
Actually runs bikers.
Okay.
Yeah, what's it called?
Yeah,
It's not, I'm saying it.
for Trump.
It's biker for Trump.
Yeah.
But I inserted the chick part.
Yeah.
Biker
no,
chicks for
yeah.
Trump.
No, it's not. It's
Yeah. So there's that. Oh, I did the GoPro. I swiped, and this tablet's very sensitive.
Very.
There it is. There's.
Must be a girl tablet.
I will not feed into your stuff there, Larry. So there was some good stuff there at the stuff. Do we want to cover this? Oh, I was going to say something.
What?
I forgot it. I should write this down. Oh, before we get to, we got to get to all the news. Larry had some fun at the. We don't have any footage for it, but Larry had some fun at the commissioners' meeting last night.
Oh.
Apparently, Larry did a really good job right up until the end of his speech when he called somebody a
maggot,
which is just just a baby offspring of a fly.
Yeah, but they use in medical field the maggot to clean the wounds, so it's something positive too.
Yeah, I refer to people in our community that fake hate crimes and lie and smear our community as a bunch of
them.
maggots.
Fuck them.
And so, but I mean, there was other things that we talked about too. There was a few people that came up and talked about the Livingston County's imaginary white power. White
power!
Supremacy power.
Oh, shit.
White supremacy.
White supremacy.
Problem.
White power.
There's and these are people that when Republicans hold events in Howell, these people show up with mops and brooms to clean up the white supremacy, even when Mexicans show up.
Mm-hmm.
What's your last name?
Trejo.
Trejo.
I can't be racist. My
Shit.
last name's Trejo.
Trejo.
Yeah.
But I mean, when they came to my event, it was like 6 of them. It was kind of funny, They're so pathetic, that it's hard not to laugh. And I mean, that's obviously why they're doing the fake Nazi gambit to get more sympathy. But that's the new evolution of their bullshit. But it really is a pathetic group you got here in Livingston.
Yeah, you gotta hire. They gotta hire their opposition. And you're working really hard, Larry. We know at tracing down the connections. But these fuckers are literally hiring their opposition, or at least letting know they're like, hey, don't show up.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah. Well, that's
you put the word out so that you're
that's
fucking.
my opinion anyway. I mean, these people show up everywhere Sagis show up. Why
What?
is that?
Why is that? How
Yeah,
does that
and
happen?
they show up and they stand there and they wave their little Nazi flag, and then the Sagis come out and save us all.
Because none of the
Yeah,
rest of
and
us give two fucks
Yeah, and then
about
they-
both sides of those. The Saggies or these fake,
Well,
the fake
they
liberals
really
who act like
melted
they care.
down. They really melted down a couple weeks ago when the Saggies held an event at the theater, right, in Howell, and they showed up and had armed guards.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, they exercised their Second Amendment rights.
Yeah,
dude.
they
It was
showed up
fucking
and
pathetic.
they had armed guards. Yeah, they had their guns, and then they had armbands like Nazis.
Yeah.
And then then West showed up to go to the event. They wouldn't let him in.
Naked
Right.
Girlie couldn't get in.
Naked Girlie couldn't get in. They refused to let him in, even
Yeah.
though that they had a post on Fascist Book that said, "Hey, we got plenty of room. Come on down." And then West says, "Okay, let me in." "Oh no, you can't come in. We're full."
I'll tell you what, Wes and Norris are my two favorite white supremacists in all of Livingston County.
Yeah, yeah. And
White
well, what
supremacists.
happened?
Those are the
What
best, yeah.
happened the next day is the Howell had enough of these extremist groups pulling all this crap in their community.
Yeah.
And there was an article in the newspaper of Howell telling both hate groups to stay out of our community.
It was very polite.
Yes.
The way they said it.
It was.
But it was a.
But they did use the term hate group.
But they were like, both of you can fuck off.
Yes.
They said it more politely than what I just said.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what, the Anglo-Saxon really kind of gets it. Fuck off. That's Anglo-Saxon for you can go ahead and leave.
Well, I mean, at what point do you just get fed up with these childish, ridiculous people?
So
some guy shows up, some idiot. He shows up. He says, "My name's Jeff, and I'm black, and we have a white supremacy problem, and I have a lot of friends, and I'm gonna tell them." Okay.
Okay. And Norris, our very own Norris Hardiman, he gets up there and goes, I moved to Livingston County because it's a great conservative place. And he's like, he's talked to me off camera and on camera. He's like, I've never experienced any type of racism in Livingston County. He's ever experienced stupid people. But it was never race. It was never racism directed at me.
Right.
Well, he's not out there amplifying every little thing that goes wrong for him or any little slight and saying it's the product of racism. That's what a lot of these people do. Everything around the corner is racist.
Right.
Every bad look they get.
Ow!
from
I hurt
someone,
my finger. That stupid white people.
Oh, really?
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's the complex that these people have, and then they project it on the rest of us, and like it's our problem.
Right. No, you're exactly right, Shane. And there's sometimes where these people, they come off and they go, how about that wasn't racism? You're an asshole, and somebody didn't like what you did.
Well, somebody actually called Coffee an asshole.
Well, that happens.
Yeah, some lady. Some lady. Her name is Stephanie.
Don't say names, Larry. Don't say names, Larry.
Well, I don't know what her name is.
All right, there it is.
Stephanie something.
Yeah.
But anyway, she just turns and starts screaming and swearing at Coffee.
But she's going to respond and
she started
cussing right back at her.
Yeah, well, she was she's a special kind of person. I feel bad for her.
That's not the one that at the minute somebody sneezes, she freaks out and wants her time back.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah, because when Coffee busted up laughing, she said something stupid, and
I want my time back.
Coffee
I want my
laughed,
time back.
and she started that.
Here, get it.
She turns and she does this. Don't laugh at me, you asshole. So I bust up laughing.
You know what?
And I felt bad. I felt bad for Jay Drick sitting up there.
I know,
watching
because
it.
she's such a terrorist. And I say that politely.
Yes.
She is, and
she was complaining.
and she's tuned into the show before.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've seen her down at Jonas, and shout out to Jonas. And I'm in there getting some Di Serono.
Yeah.
There we go. Big bottles of Di Serono. Wait. Where's my?
You just bought that today.
I just bought that today. Look at that. It's empty. But I saw her. This was a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I'm in there getting a bottle of Di Serono and something else from Jonas. And she looks at me, and I know who she is. And she looks at me again. And finally, she's checking out, and I'm behind her in line. And she goes, "You got the podcast tonight, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yep." I'm getting my bottle of Di Serono. And she's like, "Okay." And she said something very nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "How can you be nice to me in line?" And I didn't do anything to go out of my way to acknowledge
I was
it.
sitting at
It's all an act.
And then you get in front of the commission, and I've watched her in person and on video act like everybody's attacking her. Nobody's attacking you, honey. Get up and say your piece. If you're right, be right. If you're wrong, then maybe you need to have some opposition to your opinion. But
Swallow
nobody's attacking you.
It's
When
an-
somebody
it's an act. She
sneezes
wants-
behind you,
she
somebody
wants
coughs
attention.
behind you, I agree with you. But I'm trying to appeal to her better sensibilities to go, you know what?
Probably she doesn't get any attention around her house or in her life.
Exactly. It's like, what are you doing? You know? And I feel for her because I'm like, how can you live in such a place of fear that's how you respond to people? Like they're constantly, it's what you said, they're manufacturing this attack. They're manufacturing this. It's in their mind that somebody's attacking. I'm not attacking you. If I disagree with you, that's a disagreement. Can we talk it out? Can we deal with this? But that's not an attack against you
in
in a
their
person.
minds. It's all in their
100%.
minds. There is no white supremacy in Livingston County. Yet you might have a couple toothless morons dancing around their garage spitting tobacco at each other, right? But that's not some
In the man cave.
Don't cast aspersions, Shane. Trejo.
I don't feel comfortable here, man.
hey, why don't you write me an essay then?
See what you did there.
Oh man!
Tell me how you really feel. Write it down on paper. Write me an essay.
Oh shit!
I mean, they make up all this stuff about Nazis and white supremacies and fascists. Well, I mean, can you guys pick up a book? I mean, seriously, the KKK was the militant
Democrats.
arm of the Democrat Party. This Miles guy, this Robert Miles, that died from he was
a
from
New York Democrat plant.
Yeah, that lived in Cohocton, right? Who worked on presidential campaigns, who held KKK rallies. Most people came from like Ypsilanti or Ann Arbor or someplace like that. They come over and they go to Cohocton to his house and have these KKK meetings, and somehow it transfers into Howell because he protested there once.
And you're gonna find a fringe douchebag that shows up to protest.
It's all Democrats.
It's
You know,
all
Jim
bullshit.
Jim Crow laws, all Democrats. I mean, you had. Oh, wait a minute. Who took Democrat slaves away?
Republicans?
Oh, okay. I
No, 100% of the vote.
Yeah.
I've played the video on previous shows, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We played the video of
we
how
did.
many Democrats voted against liberating the slaves, 14th Amendment, and how many all the Republicans voted for it. They literally have a museum. I don't know where it's at. It's in DC or wherever it's at, in Virginia or somewhere. Okay. Where they try, well, you walk in the door and you would think Lincoln is a fucking Democrat because of the way they portray it. Lincoln was a Republican. The Republicans, and I'll give you the caveat that Lincoln said, I don't care if I free a single slave if I can preserve the Union. And Lee said, if I could prevent this war by freeing every slave, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'm paraphrasing both of them, but that's both sentiments. Okay. People on both sides. Lee was Lincoln's first choice to lead the Union, and he said, I have to be
Loyal to Virginia.
Loyal to Virginia. That's why we have, most people don't even have a clue out there that with the reason we have Virginia and West Virginia is because there was a split after the Civil War or during the Civil War of people who wanted to stay with slavery and people didn't.
Yeah.
They don't even understand that the finger of Oklahoma had to do with fucking slavery and the compromise of slavery. There's a whole bunch of stuff, dude. Be educated out there. Don't be duped by the propaganda.
It doesn't fit their narrative. The truth does not fit their narrative.
Mhm.
You know, it just doesn't.
And it only works on those people who are ignorantly complacent.
Right. It's like the marriage thing, right? You know, back before the Civil War, marriage was a thing of the church.
Correct.
Marriage records were kept in the church.
Yes.
You didn't go to City Hall and get a marriage license and seek permission from the state to
100%.
get married. That's not how it worked here.
Yeah. Right.
You know, it's all those records were housed in the church.
Yep.
All those marriages were performed in the church.
Right.
But after the Civil War, the Democrats didn't want whites and blacks getting married. So the state took over marriage licenses.
Correct.
And it was all about trying to keep the whites and the blacks from not getting married.
And that was even back to the churches a little bit of oligarch, but you're exactly right, Larry, is what does it take to get married? I'm a licensed minister. You know what it takes to get married? You decide to do it. Years ago, you used to have to go get I went through it years ago. You had to go through a whole bunch of classes about venereal diseases and shit.
Really?
And before that, there were
like
drug
Moby
tests.
Dick?
There were drug tests.
You mean like Moby Dick?
No, like disease dick.
Oh.
But you had to go through classes to do this, right? Now you just go. You got to wait 3 days in most places, and you go get a marriage certificate. You don't have to go through any classes. You don't have to do any vetting. You don't have to do anything. You could be Ilhan Omar fucking your brother and just be
I
good,
went through the classes when I got married.
right?
Seriously.
Was it
Because-
venereal disease and stuff like that?
Not by the government. I went in the church because
the church is totally different.
My wife is Catholic. I'm Orthodox. So they took me.
They're like, George, you're not quite as cool as your wife.
Like
you gotta,
we
you gotta
are,
straighten your shit out.
So I went over there twice.
Yeah.
And the first time, half of the class was in English, and after they switched in their own language, and I moved out.
Okay.
The second time, they start with their own language from the beginning. So I opened the door. I closed the door and left.
Yeah. So what's amazing to me is somebody goes, they file their paperwork. 3 days later, they get a marriage certificate. I can do the ceremony. I sign off. There's 2 other witnesses that sign off. Done deal. It'll take you 2 to 6 months to undo that piece of paper. Because people don't realize that they're filing a contract with the government.
Giving the government jurisdiction over your
and then over your home and your homestead. And they don't realize that then you further buy into selling your kids into the social security system of slavery and also writing off the whole marriage. They set it up, which I hope that Trump is going to dismantle this whole fucking thing where he's breaking this down. But it's like, if we're married, we can do this tax-wise, or we cannot do that. Listen, the minute you have to figure out whether marriage is a plus or minus in your tax filings, you've been corrupted and destroyed by the government that you allowed to be put in place.
You've been governmentized.
There it is.
I
Shane
said to my
Trejo
wife-
said it here first on the This
I
Is
said
My
to my-
Brain podcast.
One
Livingston
day I
County's
went
number
and-
one fucking podcast.
Well, then, after
many
to
have
my
come
wife-
and many have tried, but Only one
after
has
that,
prevailed.
after that lady did all that, in her speech, she impugned everybody around her that from an event that happened there from a meeting like 2 years ago, that there was a bunch of militia that scared her, followed her down to the other floor, and intimidated her the whole time that she did a news interview.
I was there that day.
Yeah, I was there that day
He
too.
was the militiaman.
Yeah, I was.
Did
there
she
that
say
day, too.
something that was bullshit? Where they went, "Wait a minute, what are you trying to say?" And then she ran and go, "I'm not getting you."
There's nothing that comes out that woman's mouth that ain't bullshit.
Well, there it is.
You know, I mean that's it. And you know, there was another lady that claimed to be a nurse. She said she was a nurse, and she feels scared for her safety. Right? You know,
Carry a gun.
You know what?
Well, here's the thing.
I can't even
right,
say
they're
it.
talking
I'll
about
say it and
they're
they'll
talking
criticize
about
me.
white supremacists, and this woman, this nurse, is scared for her safety.
You know what?
She's as white as the pure driven snow.
Yeah, like Pocahontas.
She's not yeah.
Pocahontas.
I mean, she
Like-
might have weighed.
Look at how white it is on the camera. Look at how
she-
white it is on the
yeah.
camera. Look,
She
look,
might have weighed
it's white.
600 pounds.
We're
How
not
many
fat
600
shaming
you
here,
said?
Larry.
But
We're acknowledging weight.
Right. Well, okay.
I mean, the Titanic went down because it was heavy.
Yeah, she might have.
There was a
sunk it.
hole in it, but
There's a hole in it. Yeah, but I mean, really? You're a white lady, and you're scared of white supremacy? I mean, you know, just stop with the stupid.
It's just
I mean,
bullshit.
just stop with it.
Look at me, give me sympathy. I need
Yeah.
attention. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, you know,
you hurt
oh,
my
I'm
feelings. I didn't know
scared.
you had feelings.
I'm scared. You know, I'm scared. The white supremacists.
I thought about it
gonna get
earlier
me.
in the
You're
show.
white.
Right. Right.
You're white.
The amount of whites. Listen, the reason that we don't have the Cleveland Indians right now, we have the Cleveland fuck faces. What is their name now? Right
Cleveland douchebag Guardians.
now? Douchebag Guardians. We have the Washington Commanders.
Oh, that sickens me.
How about the guy who literally sat down and posed for the mascot? That Indian chief who was proud to sit down and go, "Oh, you want to make me the face of your fucking team as a mascot of who you would fight for and band together? Hell yeah, I'll do that." Sat down with it. You know the reason they're not going to get rid of the Chicago Blackhawks? Fucking Blackhawk team. The Blackhawk tribe owns part of the team.
Nice.
How about the Chiefs? As much as I hate Mahomo, but the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
The reason they're not going to get rid of the Kansas City Chiefs is because a whole bunch of chiefs from a whole bunch of Indian tribes own them.
Well,
Own the team.
I used to buy Aunt Jemima.
I love Aunt Jemima, dude.
Aunt Jemima,
bring back,
yeah.
You
bring
can't buy
back,
it no more. It's
bring
gone.
back
It
Uncle
does-
Ben.
They don't have anymore. They don't do it.
No, they're talking about bringing back Aunt Jemima because she was a badass.
Yeah, I know.
Bring back Uncle Ben and bring back the fucking Indian on Land O'Lakes butter.
In the bottom.
Those are my three. Those are my three.
What
Those are
was
the
the
three.
reason? What was the reason they removed it from the
Because they're
bottom?
fucking again. What Larry was talking
when
about.
President Trump becomes our Caesar due to the third term project,
Fuck
he's
yeah.
bringing back Aunt Jemima
Uncle
by
Ben.
decree, and Uncle Ben by
Uncle Ben
decree,
and I want the Land O'Lakes Indian
and
chick
the Indian.
because you could fold the. Larry did it all the time. He would fold the package up to where her knees became her tits, and he was all excited as a youth.
That was stimulation back in the 1960s.
But they fucked it all up. And it's mostly what Larry was saying. It's a bunch of fucking white assholes virtue signaling on behalf of people who are like, fucking leave it alone.
Yeah.
Aunt Jemima was one of the first Black Americans to rise to such place of prominence. This chick walked around in traditional. She wasn't wearing something that was racist. She was wearing stuff that was normal for her to wear. And she walked on the stages and they were like, Aunt Jemima, you're fucking badass. We love your stuff. And she's like, yeah. She had a fucking contract to show up at places and be the voice of what was it, Mills? What was
General Mills?
Was it General Mills? No, I
So
think
one
it
of
was-
them. One of them.
Whatever company she was showing for, she was a fucking badass. And these assholes vilified her, took her down, They don't, and when they take down a statue of Robert E. Lee in the South, because he was, I'm like, you don't even know the fucking quotes from this guy who said, if I could free every slave and prevent the war, I would do it instantly. But I don't have that power, and I have to be loyal to my. The people that have no fucking concept, and then we have to live through this shit, and try to educate some people out there. Listen. Somebody sneezing behind you doesn't mean that they're trying to attack you. They just might be sneezing.
You are scared about that.
Well, it's just like all this DEI shit that teaches that white people are oppressors and black people are oppressed. Well, for one, only Democrat white people were oppressors.
100%.
Because the Republican white people ran the Underground Railroads.
Yes.
And fought wars to free the slaves.
The most racist country on the earth is the first country to fight a war to abolish slavery.
Right.
And who were selling people into slavery?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the Africans were attacking other African tribes and then selling to the Spanish.
Speaking of
nobody
racism,
says any fucking thing about that.
What's going on in Africa right now? Aren't they taking
Larry,
farmland from
come
white
on,
people?
Larry.
Just taking their homes away, so you can't live there no more. Get out.
Now you've ventured into some rare territory, Larry. You're saying that there's more slavery today than there's ever been in the earth. George is going to jump in on that. You're just going to jump in on that and say that there is.
Let me tell you one thing.
Okay.
You go to, if you are, let's take a white person. You got some
He puts
money.
his hand on my shoulder as a white person, not Trejo.
Not me. No.
No.
Hell no.
White person, and you got some money, and you are going to go in Japan.
Am I going to Japan? We're going to do this trip soon. right?
Together.
Yeah.
And over there, try to do the same things like Japanese people do. Good luck. Or if you want to live over there, to become one of the Japanese people, you get this one in your face.
You get the big finger.
So is India.
I want to wear the sandals with the socks on.
So is India.
I think that's a
so
very
is
challenging
Africa, and so is Europe too.
They're extremely racist in Oriental countries, African countries, and European
Oriental?
countries.
No,
That's
Western
a racist
con-
term.
Thank you. But in those countries, they're extremely racist against other people, up against foreigners. But I do want to figure out how they are comfortable wearing wooden shoes, wooden sandals with the little blocks on the bottom, just like 2 blocks, with the socks being. Because I've only done this once or twice. I confess that freely to everybody out there. I've had the sandal on with my socks just because my feet were a little cold, and I had it, and I was like, fuck it, and I just put my sandals on, and the way that the sock dived in between my big toe and the other toes, it didn't feel right. I felt uncomfortable within myself. I was like, I don't know, Jesus, I'm not sure this is right. And yet every fucking thing that I see in Japan, they're wearing those sandals with the socks on, cutting in between your big toe and the other ones, and I'm freaked out. It just bothers me.
Yeah, I can't wear those kind of sandals. I can't stand having that thing.
And then they have the blocks. You know what I'm talking about? The blocks.
Bugs me.
That bothers.
Yeah, I get the other kind where your toes slip in, and then you got a strap on the back of your ankle.
Oh, he said
you got a strap on?
Yeah. No, I don't need.
Damn,
one.
Larry,
Try to walk with those
freaky.
sandals.
Yeah.
Try to walk on the sand.
Yeah.
And when the sand goes
Dude,
between
but
the
anyways,
sandals,
come on.
Anyways, getting
freaks me the fuck out.
Getting back to the commissioners' meeting.
Yeah.
That was a long digression, wasn't it?
It was a long digression. No, wait. I gotta show you. I gotta show you this.
There was about 3 or 4
Holy
times
shit.
as many people there.
they look like charcuterie boards.
They look like charcuterie boards. They do.
I'm not fucking
And
kidding.
then the minute somebody puts their feet in them,
Those look like skis.
they do. Look at this one.
Holy shit.
That's a ski right there.
Yeah.
But that's not with socks. They got them with their socks on. All right, Larry, I'm sorry. Oh no, I found them. I found them right here. Look at. That's fucking weird. I just don't know if I can handle the socks.
Yeah.
I've tried it every once in a while. All right, Larry, tell us about the commissioners meeting.
Well, I mean, it was like 3 or 4 times as many people talking about how great Livingston County was and how much they love it here and how they've never encountered any racism or white supremacy. I mean, it is acknowledged about Robert Miles, the Democrat, and his all of his.
They don't acknowledge the Democrat part.
Well, the commissioners do.
That's because our commissioners are fucking awesome here in our
Yeah,
county.
well, they are, and I let them know how awesome
And
they
the
are. I wanted
greatest,
to make sure they
greatest
know
white
it.
supremacist of
Wanted to
all,
make
West
sure-
Nagiri.
Yeah.
West Nagiri.
Yep, I wanted to make sure that
Where's
they
Naka
understand that there were no Nazis in our community, and that there's just
Ever.
a bunch of maggots spreading filthy, stinking lies. That's basically
Fucking right.
that's basically my
Maggot.
speech. I mean, it was 3 minutes long. But-
Right up until he said, "These fucking maggots." He had everybody in the palm of his hands. He was just like, look at him. He's like, just massaging it. He had it all going. And then the minute I said maggots, they just were like, no, maybe shouldn't have gone totally that way.
I got something good here
No.
from a friend of mine.
What you got? Did you send it
Can
to
I?
me?
Can
Did
I
you send
read
it to me?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Can I read
No,
it?
well, if you send it to me, then we can share it with all the rest of the
Okay.
children. You gotta share it with me so I can send it with the rest of the children. We're getting close to the end of the show. What? I went blurry. Where did he go?
Yeah, what happened?
There we go. I don't know
What happened? What happened to our table?
was the table. The table go crazy.
I don't know. The table cam.
Let me
Where's
see.
Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Here.
Yeah,
Let me check the table cam.
Send. I sent it to
Let me push back to one. Oh, I must have. You know what? I hit the button before I switched. I hit the button.
Now, see, you broke
I hit
it.
the
There
button.
You go.
When I was trying to hit the button for you guys to zoom in on you because you
Yeah.
were on a rant and I wanted to see your face and all the anger and the blood bursting, the blood vessels popping. And Georgie sent it to me. Here's Georgie. What's this say?
Oh, why is so bad here? Trump is a dictator.
Oh, Trump is a dictator.
Yeah. Says the party that wants to decide if a baby should live, how much money you should earn, and what energy source you can use, what words can you say, and if you should own a gun or not.
You show what?
If you should own a gun.
Oh, if you should own a gun. Yeah. Well, there's
Chucky
Schumer, Nancy fucking Pelosi. What is that? Cory Booker up there?
I don't know.
And I think that's Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren right there. And who's the other?
No, that's Stabbing Now.
That's Debbie
Stab Me Now?
Yeah, Debbie Stab a Cow.
Stab Me Now. Stab a cow or stab me now?
Either one.
Either one.
She stabbed the cow and then she ate it.
She's a crazy. What's that song? I don't get into some of the music, but you're crazy, bitch. You know, and I
Fuck
think
so good you're on top of it.
that's the part that I can't sing because she doesn't, and it's not good. She's like a selfish person.
And I never thought I could say it, but we replaced Debbie Stabenow with somebody worse.
Illicit Slutkin?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Did I say that? I have a trouble pronouncing that. I confess that
Yeah.
freely to the audience
don't
out
know,
there.
anytime-
Illicit slut. I have a trouble with the words.
You
Illicit
have to
slutkin?
remember the word slut. that you can say.
Listen. I grew up being called Jeremy, so if she can deal with being slutkin, maybe we can find some common ground. Go fuck yourself. And there we go. Let's do some final thoughts here, guys. It's been a good show tonight. I've enjoyed it and appreciate it. Michael and I felt that we touched ourselves and felt good about everything that's going on.
Yeah, those two bring new meaning to the word sword fight.
Do you know what we forget to touch up today?
Oh, wait.
The German election.
Oh, German election. Give me that. And let's do this before we do final thoughts because we're in a hurry.
No, go ahead.
We're not in a hurry. Joyless. Joyless. No, I keep forgetting. Joy Reid. Joy Reid's out at MSNBC. Did you guys see this?
No.
Yes, I did.
Joy Reid.
Yes, out of MSLSD. Yes.
She has been fired Damn, the news moves so quick. I got to scroll down. I had this pulled up.
Yeah.
Right here. So here's Mr. Maddow, Mr. Rachel Maddow.
What's wrong with her face? Why is it looks like
she's
somebody?
She normally looks like that.
She normally looks
No,
like that.
but the mouth and the chin is.
So there's Rachel Maddow accuses her own network, MSNBC, of being racist because they fired Joy Reid. Joyless Reid. And you know what happened with Joy Reid? She got fired because she's a douche. She's a racist person. Anyway, so there's the story there.
That's how those people operate. Though,
Here,
on
let's
the left.
see what Joy Reid has to say.
My show had value.
It did?
And
I don't remember
that-
it having value.
The market disagreed.
Yeah.
That
maybe viewership.
That what I was doing.
Her show did have value. 25 cents.
Had value. And in the end.
Listen, my podcast has the amount of viewers that I get paid for. You know how much I get paid for right now? 0, and I don't fucking care. When I start making money, I will still not sell out. Look at.
I try not to cry on TV, and I take this kind of like me on TV. So I apologize.
You try not to cry on TV, but you're literally on TV.
Listen, I do
and
agree.
then
her
it
show
kind
had
of and then
value.
it mattered.
Not
I see
much.
Karen is there, and she's been texting
never
me as
watched
well.
it.
And so what I will just say is,
kind of show that she have.
Your show's over because you're an asshole. Your show's over because you're an asshole.
Yeah, they
Now
need to
here's
get rid of Rachel.
here's Mr. Maddow.
Can you put the voice on?
And more respect than
Here-
Joy Reid. I love.
Wait. I want to hear what Mr. Maddow has to say. I'm still not convinced that Maddow is not. Who's the late night host?
Jimmy Fallon.
No, the other.
Stephen Colbert.
Yes. Listen. I'm not
Well, look at
fully
that.
convinced that Stephen Colbert is not Rachel Maddow
I
without
mean,
glasses.
look at that. Look at her.
No colleague for
face
whom
right
I have
there.
had more affection
Doesn't she look like
and more
Herman Munster
respect
before the
than
makeup?
Joy Reid.
Yeah.
I love everything about her. I have
Everything?
learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC.
Oh,
And
then you should
personally,
quit
I think
too.
it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door.
Really?
It is not my call, and I understand that.
Oh, you do?
That's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime.
Oh my God.
Both of our non-white hosts.
How about it doesn't fucking matter about your gender or your race, not even your race, your specific ethnicity. It doesn't fucking matter on your gender or your specific
Those
ethnicity.
idiots can't
Do you do a good job?
And they don't look. They don't even have one gypsy anchor.
This is true. No fucking gypsy
no
anchors.
gypsies on
I mean,
prime time. What the hell?
Good call, Shane. I
Do they
appreciate
have
that.
any
Primetime are losing their shows.
Yeah.
As is Katie
Gypsies.
Fang on the weekend.
Katie Fang lost her show on the weekend. Katie Fang.
Don't
wait.
say what you're thinking. You've already you've been hard enough on the Orientals
I'm just
tonight.
saying. No, but I'm saying is Katie Fang related to Fang who fucked
Swalwell.
Swallowswell?
Oh, Swallowswell.
Did Swallowswell sleep with Fang or Katie Fang? I don't know. There's a lot of fangs coming out right now, and I'm quite concerned. But these are what, so this was in my notes here. Joy Reid, and then Rachel Maddow accuses her own network.
Did Swallowswell sleep with Adam Schiff?
Shit for brains? I don't know. But it's an interesting thing. And so,
and that
Rachel.
feels worse than bad.
It feels
No
worse
matter who
than
replaces
bad.
them. That feels.
I want to know what feels worse than bad. I just really want to. I want to know what love is. I want to know what feeling worse than bad
You know,
feels
I
like.
just couldn't.
And Rachel, Mr. Maddow said, losing Fang, it's bad. It's bad. So there's that one. Was there one other one of my things? Doge email. We kind of covered that, didn't we?
Dodge.
Dodge.
No,
Dodge. Well, Dodge would have had a D-O-G-D-E. Doge, D-O.
Stellantis make Dodge.
No, I get it. You're in the.
He makes Tesla.
But the final backlash, like how I'm gonna pull this up right now. I pulled it up. It's right on the screen. Pop quiz: 5 things you did last week. This is harassment. I'm being bullied. How dare you ask us to reaccount? There's a meme going around with The Office. Did you see it, Shane?
I don't think so.
And it's the guy, and they're like, we want to know, what do you actually do here? Well, I take the papers and I move them over to the other guy. They're like, okay, but what do you do? Listen, I'm very important here.
Oh, that's Office Space, right?
Office Space. What did I say? Office?
The Office, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Office Space. That's a fucking great.
TCF reports or whatever.
Yeah. I do my TCF reports. Make sure you file your reports. Yeah.
The jump to conclusions, Matt.
Yes. I'm going to do the new. That was his game. Jump to conclusions. All right, let's see this one. We're going to open this one, an image. And you guys get ready for final thoughts. Larry, back on that one?
Cash money?
You F around and you'll find out. Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, the deep state.
The next few years are going to be fun.
Oh.
We're going to have lots of podcasts.
Oh, my God, dude.
You know,
it's fucking incredible.
I saw something on the news. That's why I made that comment earlier about transgender surgeries. Apparently, they found a ring of government employees that had a email chat thing going on that was discovered, and they all went and got transgender surgeries on work time.
Oh, I heard there was one whole organization that if you didn't have like a subtractedectomy or addictomy, depending on what you were before, you couldn't get a job no matter what, unless you did the addictomy, subtractedectomy. Because I mean, that's what it is.
Well, if it's an addictomy, how come it's not adipostomy?
Because
you can't really add it. You got to just kind of dig it in.
Larry, you're doing that.
You got to tuck and dig and sew.
There's 8-minute abs, and then somebody might come up with 7-minute abs, but you can't do 6-minute abs. 6-minute abs don't work. You can only do 7-minute abs. It doesn't. Watch. What's the movie with Adam or with?
There's something about Mary.
Something about Mary.
Oh, that is a
He's
great
like,
movie.
I'm gonna do a thing called 7-minute abs. Well, what if somebody comes up with 6-minute? No, you can't do 6. You can't work out in 6 minutes. 7. It has to be 7.
I just remember the guy zipping his thing up in his zipper.
Dude, how did you get the Frank? How did you get the Frank below the beans? That's the line that I remember.
We have a bleeder.
Holy shit. The stuff that we grew up on. It's hilarious.
Remember Porky's?
Stop. We're not going there. Give me some signatures, man.
Somebody actually brought up
who's
Porky's
starting off on the
commissioners meeting.
Brought up Porky's during the commissioners meeting?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What part was it? Was it
I
the glory hole?
I don't remember.
Was it the glory hole or was it the hooter, the howling chick? You got to put a sock in her mouth. Nobody who's watched that movie understands. Larry saw my paper. Who's going first? Final thoughts.
That was like a really good movie.
All right, Mr. Shane Trejo, you right-wing racist supremacist.
I would like to apologize to the audience for Jeremy's constant comments against the Asians. Your ways maybe run afoul to Jeremy, but I have no problems with you guys at all. I hope to travel your vast continent before my life is over, and I just wanted to apologize to you guys for everything that Jeremy said today. And, but on a real note, I just wanted to reiterate: keep your heads up. It's can be very tumultuous, and a lot of things can divide us, and be frustrating on a day-to-day basis, especially if you're doing local politics. But in the aggregate, the way that we have gone the past 2 decades, from Bushism, from the neocons being in charge, from tightly controlled media to right now where everything is driven on X, citizen bloggers, InfoWars, Elon Musk, the world's richest man, amplifying all this stuff constantly.
Right.
And, a new day has dawned where, the patriot movement is revered within the Republican Party, not treated like a third rail. President Trump is delivering on so many different things. A lot of, going to war with the federal bureaucracy and unleashing crypto. That's
going to be huge.
That's going to be huge for the future of freedom and making it so that regardless of whether we win or lose the next election, we'll be able to continue to have our economic and personal freedom because we won't have to rely on government. We can rely on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So there's a lot of really good things that are going on right now, and the momentum seems to be on our side. So let's not blow it. Let's stay positive. Let's focus on winning battles at the local and state levels of government, and those will keep building upward and upward and upward like they have already, and we'll be able to defeat the left, and we'll be able to have freedom for generations to come. We're on the cusp of doing it, so let's do it, and let's not get bogged down in the infighting and the bullshit.
Larry, you're next.
All right.
That was great, Shane. Thank you.
Several people told me that my speech last night was awesome and that the favorite part of the speech
was the maggot part.
Was the maggot part.
Maggot part.
And I appreciate
for the record, Larry, they thought you said MAGA.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. As far as, I'm going to give everybody my opinion on what's going on in this county.
Never happened before. You guys, this is.
Yeah, there are no white supremacists in Livingston County. That doesn't mean that there's not some crazy whack job somewhere. But as far as a white supremacist movement, a Nazi movement, a fascist movement, it just doesn't exist. It's not there, especially from anybody that's Mexican. But
that's what I want you to think.
But I mean, at what point do these retards, realize that they're defeating their own purpose? That the only thing that they're doing is completely destroying all of their credibility. And someday something might happen to where they need to be taken seriously, and they won't be. They won't be because it's all they've done is trash our community or lie to everybody. File false police reports. That Cindy. Did you know that
your favorite friend there?
Yeah, I almost said a name on the show. Did you know that a Heartland School Board member filed a police report against me for a meme?
Yes.
For what? What did you do?
I put a meme on Facebook.
I don't know what he means.
With Cindy somebody on the school board with her voting, what she voted on.
Wait, what do you mean?
And she called the police.
Called the police.
Wow.
How
and
rare.
I had to talk to the sheriff's deputy about it.
Kind of a meme thing to do.
She doesn't know First Amendment?
No.
Oh.
No, Democrats don't like the Constitution.
Until Trump gets in, and then they're all about the Constitution.
Yeah. It's like there was in the fake news media was at it again, with reporting on what happened at Tom Barrett's office, because they went constituents show up protesting Tom Barrett. At his office over Trump's tariffs and job cuts. And what the headline should have been, if it was real news, is libtards show up to protest Barrett.
In what town?
That's all they needed.
Where was this happening?
At his office.
In D.C.?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. No, here.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
His local constituent office.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and how do we know that they were all? I would bet that they bust them in like they did. Like when I went to Slotkin's event at
How do you pronounce that?
SLUTKIN. Slotkin. I went to her event at Oakland University, and I talked to several people while we were standing in line. They came from everywhere but our county.
Wow.
At least her supporters.
Would you say
I
that
talked
they
to
were
several people from Canton, Sterling Heights. I talked to people from downriver. There
What
was
county
people
is she
from
from?
Brownstown. There was people that I talked to, from Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor,
Ypsilanti?
everywhere but Livingston County. Until I found people that opposed her, and they were pretty much all
locals?
Yeah,
Crazy fucking locals.
couple weren't.
Maybe a few people from
Couple weren't.
Ipsitucky.
But most
were.
Yeah.
Said this bitch is crazy.
Yeah, no partisan hack impeachment.
Only the first line
I think
applies.
that's somebody said.
You're crazy,
yeah,
bitch.
or impeach
But I don't want
Congress.
anything
I think
to do
somebody
with
said
you.
impeach Congress too. Other than that.
Impeach Congress, yes.
Impeach Congress. George
Yes.
Scandy.
What?
Georgie.
First of
final
all,
thoughts,
it
bro?
was a while ago that somebody put in the Facebook that I have to get the fuck out of this town. And I appreciate Larry told him that he is a minority and he has to get the fuck out of here, not me. Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
I didn't have any chance to thank you, so
You're doing it on air live on our show.
Today was the
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
Today was the night.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and what I meant by calling that guy the minority, I had no idea what race this person is. I wasn't referring to his race. I was referring to his politics.
Oh. Politics?
Well, he was a libtard.
Well,
and
there are those-
libtards are the vast minority.
Which is different
in
from
Livingston
a
County.
chucktard.
Yeah, chucktards are
Or
even dumber.
Or a fucktard. Go ahead, Georgie.
So we didn't talk much for international events that happening right now, but in Germany, the liberals got the red light and the conservatives got the green light to move on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is something that gives me hope that sooner or later all those EU countries will understand what liberals do and what LGBT and all the garbage is for. And another thing is that bothers me the most is the money that they are going to start paying for the farmers because the cows are farting now, and will start in Denmark.
Would you say the cows are
Cows farting,
farting?
and yeah,
Fart?
the fart.
I
is
have to
CO2.
differentiate. Sometimes George says some words that sound something like.
No,
Go ahead.
no. The fart is CO2, and it goes all the way up.
Yeah.
And now we can breathe.
What's the actual percentage of CO2 in the atmosphere right now? It's like 1.
Is it?
It's ridiculous.
It's 0.8. No, 0.9.
Yeah, it's
And I
ridiculous.
was listening
This
to
guy's
a
an
guy,
engineer. I'll take his word for it.
Yeah, I was listening to another guy that was talking about CO2, and if you drop the CO2 below the 0.8%, the planet is in trouble.
A desert.
Yeah.
They know that when they pump CO2 into desert areas, that it greens up. Because plants, you know what plants? I don't know if this guy's biology, it's like 6th grade biology.
Oh, you mean the
Plants
leaves on the
breathe.
plant, they suck in the CO2?
They like
and
the
they give
CO2.
off oxygen?
Oxygen. You know, but Bill Gates came out and told us that planting trees is bad.
Yeah.
Planting trees is bad. It's a bad thing. So there we go. Is that it, George?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. I'll do my final thought. Hey, get over your bullshit.
That was a nice final thought. Thank you. Oh.
The man of few words himself.
You know, here it is. Get over your bullshit. Love on somebody. Don't be a dick.
Ooh.
I'm going to love on you, Larry.
You copy this word from me.
I copied the word "don't be a dick" from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
I did.
be a dick.
You originated it, and I copied it. You're exactly right.
See?
Hey,
I
like,
know
share, and subscribe out there, guys. I don't have the button to push to add it on there, but go to thealexjonesstore.com/this is my brain. Check out the products on there. I love the turmeric. I love the bod. The turmeric is called the Bod Ease. There's now some gummies out there. They're awesome. Check out that they just got back the nitric boost. That's fucking phenomenal. There's a whole bunch of other products. Alex has really been promoting the it's an algae, or it's a what comes out like not a grass, but something out of the ocean. It's
algae.
Seaweed.
Seaweed.
But those are
there's
algae.
another word for it. It's
Algae?
Algae.
There's a whatever the fuck it is. It's good stuff. Get on the site. Just do some searches and you'll find some really good stuff on there. Those are products. It does help underwrite. Oh, somebody hit. How did we hit the button?
What?
The button got hit.
What button?
thealexjonesstore.com. This is my brain. Is Tim Allen in the somehow in the computer over there?
Tim.
It might be the ghost.
Tim's
I just saw a
essence.
switch. I just saw a switch of the thing that Larry didn't do and I didn't do.
Tim's essence.
Tim
remains.
Allen might be in there switching some stuff around. Yeah, thealexjonesstore.com/this is my brain. There's a whole bunch of awesome products on there that when you purchase them do help underwrite Alex Jones, InfoWars, but also help underwrite what we're doing here. We appreciate that. I've invested a lot of money in the equipment that we have here, just so we can sit here and have a good conversation and share with you guys. And between Shane and Larry, we're about to have some incredible guests. We've had some in the past, but we're about to have some huge, incredible guests show up on the show. Sunday night conversations, as well as continuing on with some Tuesday night rants. And that's what we want to do. So we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Like, share, and subscribe above everything else. We'll catch you guys soon. Livingston County's number one podcast.
And
Go fuck yourself.
before we sign off, would you please cut to my screen? I want to share something. And whoops, there we go. Let's go to my laptop.
Is this the lightning round for Larry?
No.
Oh shit! I'm on the wrong camera. Hold on. Go, Larry. And you want me to cut to your laptop, though?
Yeah, cut to my laptop.
Larry's laptop. There we go.
Oh, there we go. There's my laptop, and I'll hit this right here.
This is my brain.
Dad, that's an egg.
Yeah, that's an egg.
Honey,
Dude.
that's an egg.
Seriously.
That's an egg.
It's a metaphor.
It's still an egg.
That's an egg.
I would challenge you.
That's an egg.
I know my brain is not actually an egg, okay? It's a metaphor.
Metaphor or not, that's not your brain.
It's just an egg.
Una cerveza para mí. My egg is my brain.
Can I at least have some bacon, maybe some sausage with that egg, though?
Oh, I want some bacon.
I want crepes.
Have some bacon and pancakes with that egg.
I'll take it with cheese.
Extra large brown cage-free eggs.
Can I have your brain with hot cakes?
A little sausage and a little toast and potato.
That would be great.
Does it have antibiotics?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this shit.
Well, they got to be able to resist some diseases.
You resist the disease.
Has it got any hormones?
Maybe. It's cage free.
Vegetarian?
Maybe.
Are they vegan?
No, I